Sibling rivalry tonight in Front Range League action. NoCo Prospectors hosting the Fort Collins Foxes, two teams based out of the Fort Collins area. Pitch one of tonight's 9-inning ball game on the way from Nathan Alcoof. Bunt from Nori Todd, going to be a tough play. Todd down the line, and that throw is wide, and Nori's got at least two. He'll consider three. Into second base goes Todd as the right fielder Dalton Berg digs that out of the bullpen area and sends a throw to third base. Nori Todd, a bunt base hit to open the game, and an E1 putting the pressure on the D. Todd has two bags. And right to it on a Saturday night. The capper of games in the Front Range League tonight at City Park in Fort Collins. Thad Anderson with you on the Front Range Baseball Network. Thanks for joining us tonight. And another bunt put down. Larry Haskins, they go back to back, and that's two guys aboard. Small ball terrorism, some would call it. Not me, but some. It's Larry Haskins cleanly bunting his way aboard. And the daily double. Phoenix West now. Oh, come on, do it, bunt. Do it. Runner goes. West takes, throw down to second. Will stay on the infield. Haskins has second base stolen. Runners are at second and third on the stolen bag, with Phoenix West playing second base defensively for the Foxes tonight. Nick Bertucci on deck. Bertucci was not in the starting lineup last night in Colorado Springs. Came on to close that game on the Hill. A mostly off night for Bertucci out of the lineup, but he was called on late in that game. The Miracles of El Paso County Baseball gave the Foxes a battle last night. Fort Collins got the win at Block Tickets Park in the Springs. Ball across, strike across, 1-1 for Phoenix West. And the outer edge is there. And it's a 2-1 count. Okay, I looked at the scoreboard, and it said 1-1 a moment ago. That was not true. It's a 2-1 count. So those first two pitches were balls to Phoenix West. He's got a 2-1, two aboard, nobody out. Ball to West. Has him in charge of the count. Umpire checking his clicker too, going, wait a minute. Mine says something different than that scoreboard in right field. Right next to the foul pole in right, and this is foul down the first base line. Fan says, way to fight it off, but of course that was a 3-1 count, so you're not fighting off, but they didn't know. They're looking at the scoreboard. The communication, the value, importance of calm. Put some dots on a board in red, and people will believe it. 3-2 pitch. Alcoof is downstairs with it. It's a walk pitch to Phoenix West, and the bases go loaded with nobody out. Look out. Fox's offense can landslide, avalanche on teams, and the Prospectors are into an immediate jam. Jack Prenny was scheduled to start tonight. He was on the lineup card, but then a late change was made when starting lineups were announced, and Prenny not going tonight. It's Nathan Alcoof on the mound, the righty. Looking at traffic jam on the bags, and the four-batter power hitter Nick Bertucci in the box. TJ McCraw scheduled to start for the Foxes tonight. Should see McCraw in the bottom of one. We'll see what, if any, lead he has staked for him. One count to Bertucci. Alcoof's pitch inside, and he bent that to the zone. Nice pitch. challenging, throwing, executing. That's what it is. That's what I'm going for. Executing a heck of a pitch against a good hitter. McCraw is throwing down in the bullpen, getting ready for his first inning of work. He'll pitch to Vinny Angle, his catcher. Here's Al Koof's 2-strike pitch to Bertucci. That's upstairs. Phoenix West on first. Larry Haskins at second. Nori Todd leads the relay team out there. He's at third base. Foxes in the third base dugout tonight. Abnormal spot for them. The home team is the Prospectors. They chose first tonight. Upstairs to Bertucci, and the count is full with nowhere to put. Power hitting cleanup batter for the Foxes. Bertucci stands tall. Al Koof looks in. Just a tap step to come set. Delivers. Tried to bend that on the inside part of the plate and didn't get it to hook. And that's back-to-back walks and RBI producing ball 4. Bertucci sends one home. Nori Todd, the leadoff bunt. And it became 2 bags for him on the error throw. Todd scores first run of the game for the Foxes. Now Hank Smith, righty pitcher, lefty batter. Righty to lefty first pitch. Smith goes with it and sails that into left center. Tag up at third. Shallow fly ball. Gladish has it. Here comes the runner. Throw is offline, and Larry Haskins will score. Phoenix West going to try to take a bag on that loose ball. He is called safe at third base. And
First down.
very demonstrative what from the third base dugout came flying out. Sack fly, RBI. Phoenix West moves up on an error with the ball loose at the plate. Bertucci stayed at first. Catcher Gladish, good arm in left. He was moving towards center to make that catch, and his throw went that direction toward the first base side of home plate. Foxes have 2 runs in with 1 out, corners the runners, and it's shortstop Owen May, number 6 batter. May will be followed by Drew Oreskes. Drew on deck, Aiden Young, and then Vinny Angle. Oreskes had a good night last night in Colorado Springs. He had 3 hits plus a walk. A couple doubles, 3 RBI in the win. Bertucci going, and he wanted West to take off from third. Bertucci is out. Adams to the second baseman, Genoa Trujillo, 2 away, caught stealing of Bertucci. And Owen May will try to punch in 1 more for the Foxes here in the bottom of 1, or the top of 1. What the scorebug says bottom 1. What is going on here? That is inaccurate. There's a wild pitch that'll get the job done. Phoenix West coming to the plate. 3 runs in for the Foxes. Wild pitch drills the backstop. Defensively, Kyler Adams, the catcher, he had to reach and then scramble back to the screen for that loose ball that scored Phoenix West. Al Koof and Adams, the battery. Corner defenders, Braden Thompson plays first base for the Prospectors starting tonight. He'll bat number 9. Third baseman, Dom Lefevre, bat in the 6th slot. Up the middle, Will Toger playing shortstop tonight. Something a little different than I've seen from Will defensively. Strike called there against Owen May. Second baseman Genoa Trujillo, saw him a moment ago make a tag on the caught stealing of Bertucci. Al Koof's pitch, good outer edge pitch, and he works the count back to full from 3-0 to 3-2. Can he finish it off with Owen May? He cannot. walk. Make it 3 free passes in the inning. That's a trend that will have to be reversed to keep this game in any kind of contention for the Prospectors. And in comes Drew Oreskes. You saw catcher Gladish in left field defensively, making a catch. Center fielder is Dax. It was listed as Dax Vila. Yeah, it's Vila out there. Right fielder is Dalton Berg. DH tonight for the Prospectors will be Riley Suarez. He'll lead off. Suarez, the number 1 batter, waiting to hit in the bottom of 1 is the DH for NoCo. This is the DH for the Foxes, Oreskes. Alcoof is wide with a 1-1 count now. Owen May aboard at first. Ooh, from my Fox box vantage point, the tree above the first base dugout is now perfectly shaped to block the score on the scoreboard. I can see kind of the outs, sort of the strikes. Lean for the balls. Can't see the innings or runs at all unless I do a little bit of yoga. Get into a pose. And it says 3-0 up there on the board for the score. Ball 1, 2 strike count. And it's 2-2 to Oreskes. Thanks to Preston Munch for throwing together some stats tonight, printing off a little stat chart for me of Prospectors and Foxes. Both teams owned and operated by Mesa Sports Group. Also owns and operates the Boulder 64s, 3 of the 8 teams in the league. May's stealing here. Head first he goes. Ball's loose, and May was in. It was close. And the strikeout was there, so that didn't matter on the backside. Not allowed to finish at the plate, but it is strike 3, and the steal try by May is irrelevant. 3rd out to the board, 3 runs to the plate for the Foxes. Bottom of 1, hosting the NoCo Prospectors. They will bat for the first time as Riley Suarez, Dax Vila, catcher Gladish come to the plate against starting right-hander for the Foxes, TJ McCraw. TJ McCraw, first pitch for McCraw on the night to Riley Suarez, leadoff DH. He taps that, and it was foul at the plate. Suarez had that bounce off of something. I don't know if that hit Vinny Engel's glove or if it came off of the batter, Suarez. It's one strike on a foul tap that rolled into fair territory. Caught somebody in the batter's box area. Catcher's box, perhaps. Ball there, 1-1 the count. 6:05 p.m. Mountain Time start for the Foxes and Prospectors. Roller in the grass, multi-hopper on a roll out to shortstop, and Suarez hustles down the line. He is tardy on the throw from Owen May, one out. Dax Vila, the center fielder, bats second. Tonight's Foxes radar charting crew, jerseys number 6 and 7. Ryan Othen and Connor Grease down at the backstop. Othen on the gun and Connor Grease in moral support, not holding a clipboard or anything, just hanging out with Othen. Grease, part of the intellectual party to the activities to log what we got from McCraw. Strike there, has an 0-2 count. Fired up against Dax Vila. Catcher Gladish on deck. Gladish and then Dalton Berg, the number 4 batter, the right fielder for the Prospectors. McCraw's pitch is in and had a chance to get out of an 0-2 count with a HBP. Vila rolled away and didn't wear that one. Would have been a painful wear up around the shoulders. Hard to not whip away from that high in heat. Now a pitch on the opposite side goes 2-2 on the count. TJ McCraw with Vinny Engel catching. McCraw Engel the battery. 2-2 pitch. It's down in the zone. That's flared down the line and right. Bertucci long run at the foul line onto the bullpen mound. Caught by Bertucci and right. Good running play by Nick Bertucci to put away out number 2, and he caught it a straddle of the right field line, right on the paint line, and then ran up onto the bullpen in right. Foxes, or the Prospectors bullpen tonight. They're in the first base dugout. Catcher Gladish has hit some balls at a city park this summer. Ball 1. And as you heard, it clangs against the backstop just below our field mic. Will Toger comes out to poach that one and take it away. 1-0 count to Gladish. McCraw spins one that stays up in the zone. 2-0. You can see the flagpole in left field, and again blowing straight down at the moment. Little breeze here in the Fox box and the bleachers. Flag not moving. Strike makes it 2-1 to Gladish. Got a couple of gatherings out there. Got a significant little tent colony and folding chairs under the tree in left, kind of in the left field corner. Gladish reaches out for an outside pitch. 2-2 the count. There must be about 15 or 16 people in that little colony in left field watching the game, and then a smaller group, 4 or 6 people just to the right of the flagpole out in left field, and sprinkled on around the outfield. Few folks enjoying the game from the deep view out in the grassy areas. Full count to Gladish. TJ McCraw pitching in his 11th game on the season. Fox is playing their 32nd game of the year. He's pitched now in 11 of the 32, so about a third of the games he's in. He'll Yank that wide to Gladish. Cannot execute the 3-up, 3-down frame as Gladish takes a walk.
Berg.
For TJ McCraw. McCraw. No, actually, let me correct that. The stats glitched here and the column slid over one. This is the 9th game pitched, game participated in for McCraw. He had pitched 10 innings prior to this. A lot of short appearances. Berg turns on one, yanks that down the right field line. That'll be extra bases for Berg. Rolling to the corner, they'll get to the track to the wall. Around third comes Gladish, and the Prospectors are on the board. 2-out double. Jerked on a pull shot by Dalton Berg, and he barreled it into the corner in right field, just to the fair side when it rolled dead against the fence of the foul pole. Landed well fair and rolled its way right to the corner where the foul area meets the pole at 335, where Bertucci picked it up as it came to a rest right against the fence. 2-out walk immediately bites TJ McCraw as Berg hammers him home with a double. Will Toger, the shortstop, he gets a good barrel foul, third base side. McCraw, 9th game pitched in, working now in his 11th inning on the season based on the stats I've been presented with. That was his 9th run allowed on the season. All 9 of his runs have been earned on the year. Now 9 walks and 9 strikeouts on the year with the 1 walk in this inning. McCraw's ERA at 5.60. And his whip, that pitch is down. Didn't miss by much. McCraw right at the bottom of the zone, ball called. His whip is a 2 for McCraw, and he has that in this inning. Walks and hits per inning pitched. He's given up a walk and a hit. So his average of 2 on the whip into this game is reaffirmed right here. Toger swings on an off speed and was way out in front of that. Those who've watched Will for years, and including this summer with the NoCo Prospectors, well aware that Toger is a power guy. He could tie it with one swing here. 1-2 count. McCraw looks back to 2 at Berg, sends it home and missed the zone. That gives us heavy deuces now. 2-2, 2 outs, runner at 2. .25 batting, 5.8 pitching. McCraw to Toger. Way wide, missed by a bunch on that. Easy take for Toger, makes it a full count. Will batting .351 on the year, slugging .1238. Four home runs on the year for Toger. And 21 RBI, and he'll take a walk right here. Works through a count. 10th walk of the season for Toger. Nope. 7th walk of the season. I got to get my eyes oriented. The columns here are scoochy on the stats. Toger's 7th free pass of the season keeps this inning in motion for the NoCo Prospectors. Now runners at first and second. And Dom Lefevre with 2 out. Ball 1 to Lefevre. Dom with his 56th at-bat, potentially, if this ends up being an official at-bat, barring walk hit by pitch. No chance to sacrifice here with 2 outs. Lefevre chops that foul, 1-1 count. Dom scuffling a little bit at the plate this summer. Sub 200. oft referred to as the Mendoza line. Look it up. Good story behind the Mendoza line. McCraw's pitch is out to Lefevre. Dom has drawn 10 walks on the year. And one long ball from Lefevre this summer. Two-one count. McCraw shakes off a something and shakes on a something else. 2-1 pitch. Lefevre sends that towards center. Nori Todd, couple of steps back and gloves it down. And Lefevre lines out to center field, third out of the frame. Stranding two with the Prospectors putting up one run in the first, and each team is off and running with some offense. More for the Foxes, 3-1 after the first. For the Foxes, 8-9-1, Aiden Young, Vinny Engel coming to the plate, and then back to the top with Nori Todd.
Cliche Country, Sugar Lake's unicorn of radio. Wide open and in the saddle. Tough, gritty. We are servant leaders with exceptional bandwidth who give 110%. So open a can of worms and beat a dead horse. Get outside the box. 108.1 FM. Put a pin in it for a win-win situation. Sugar Lake's Cliche Country, 108.1 FM. It is what it is. You got this. Have a nice rest of your day.
We're gonna go, we'll take our time. We'll hit the road, see what we find. Anticipate and wait. I wanna leave, I wanna go. What could be out there? What will I see? Will I find a secret to me? Then it begins, it's time to go. The journey's now, let's hit the road. The road unwinds and then I find Longbridge Road means we're almost home. Longbridge Road means we're almost home. Longbridge Road means we're almost home. No matter where I go or where I roam, Longbridge Road means we're almost home.
How about some Aiden Young right here? Let's check out what 99's got in the box right side. Starts the top of the second inning. First chance to hit for Aiden Young. Vinny Engel, the catcher, is on deck. Courtesy running, I'm sure, will be in effect. And I didn't see if, I imagine Nate Eliason is in the house. Weapon as a courtesy runner for the Foxes on the season. Should Vinny Engel reach, next man up. On deck right now, Young swings and gets nada. Board shows a 2-1 count. Coaching instruction from the dugout to Alcoof right there was, come on now, a little encouragement, and then fix it. A little adjustment requested from Nathan Alcoof. Got to the zone. That ball is lasered to left, and it'll get down and then hop over Gladish. Single with a one-base error for Young. He's going to head into second. Good swing from Aiden Young. He hit it hard, and that ball, I think at first the left fielder, catcher Gladish, thought he might go make a catch on it. Pulled up, was just going to block it down in left, and it bounced over his throwing shoulder, his right shoulder out by that flagpole in left. He had to run to the wall and retrieve it. Young goes into second base. Here's Vinny Engel. watches ball one. Alcoof's pitch. Good pitch from Nathan. One tally. Alcoof righty to the lefty Vinny angle. That's in, and that clipped Vinny. Thought it would have been difficult for that pitch not to have hit him. It was right in on his thighs, grazed angle. Hit by pitch, flips the order, and the runner's going to be Elijah Morales. Blaze Morales will run. Dom Selfo coaching first base. We could see Dom later in the game, lefty pitcher, but for now he's at his familiar first base coaching post. Jay O'Connor coaching third. Mound visit by Chris Nobbenshoe. That brings me to a thank you to the coaching staffs. Both ways. Chris Nobbenshoe leads the NoCo Prospectors. Jamie Thompson, his assistant, and Braden Thompson, a player coach. Braden in the starting lineup tonight. He's over at first talking to Elijah Morales right now, playing first defensively. Also, one of the coaches on the three-man crew, Chris Nobbenshoe, Jamie Thompson, Braden Thompson for the NoCo Prospectors. Fort Collins Fox is Larry McCann, the head coach. Jay O'Connor, assistant coach. Coach O'Connor at third base right now. Which leads me to the first promo of two in-game conversations between innings. Share some comments on audio with you from both Chris Nobbenshoe and Jay O'Connor. Jay, the pitching coach, assistant for the Foxes. We'll have the Jay O'Connor and Chris Nobbenshoe interviews sprinkled throughout in inning breaks tonight. Todd, for the second time, whips around on a bunt show. Yeah, it was called a ball. Nathan Alcoof is looking around the pitcher thinking, I'm pretty sure he offered it that, didn't he? He was thinking about maybe an appeal out to the umpire in the C position on the shortstop side of the mound. No appeal. And it'll be ball one to Nori Todd. Nori not going bunt here. He's going to shoot that through the left side. Young coming around third. He's held up with Gladys Shallow in left, getting that ball in rapidly. And the bags, again, like they were in the first inning, are full of Foxes. Single, then a hit by pitch. It was Young singling, going to second on an error in left. Hit by pitch to Angle. Clean single through the left side for Nori Todd, and storm clouds a-brewing for the Prospectors. You see the clouds on your screen. They look like friendly clouds tonight, just shade providers, not game delayers. Clouds over the Prospectors' defense right now are a little more threatening. Call from the first base dugout, I think it was Coach Nobbenshoe, said, stay right there. It was a ball, but that pitch where he wanted it. From the stretch, Alcoof pulls out his bare hand out of his glove and circles it, asking for a rerun of the signs. Then he goes set and misses wide. Catcher Kyler Adams telling Genoa Trujillo at second base to go over toward the hole a little bit more, back toward first base. He was shaded toward Elijah Morales at second. Kyler Adams saying, let's don't worry about the runner, get out there and cover up that gap on Larry Haskins, who takes a strike. Haskins batting number 2. He singled his first time up. Second chance to hit in the second inning for Haskins. Swings and he's tardy on a fastball. 2-2 count to Larry Haskins, who broke up a long night last night from the leadoff spot with a base hit in his last time around. He was on an 0 for 5 with 1 walk at that point, and the relief to get a base hit. He's going to shoot this to right. That ball might have grass. Dalton Berg, nice running catch. Runners tag from second and from third. Todd moves up to third, and to the plate comes Aiden Young on a sac fly. Good swing from Haskins. Nice play in right by Dalton Berg. Line out to right, 1 away, sac fly. Haskins has an RBI. Runners now at first and third. Courtesy runner Elijah Morales tagged up, as did Aiden Young, who came to the plate. Nori Todd likely to take off. He's at first. Won't go here. And West goes right back to the box. Buzzes the hat of pitcher Alcoof. West drives in Blaze Morales. 5 runs on the board for the Foxes. Phoenix walked in the first, now singles, RBI. 1 away, 2 aboard. Nick Bertucci, RBI walk in the first. Bertucci had a non-at-bat last time up. That was a plate appearance, no AB on a walk. He's on his 89th AB of the year. Nick hitting .341 is average. On base percentage at .478, so just under half of the times he comes to the plate, he's on base. Slugging .705 for the Foxes. Aiden Young slugging 1.444 or 1,444. It's about double what Bertucci has, but in a lot fewer at-bats. Ground ball to short is a slow roller in the grass, and they can't turn it, but Phoenix West is out at second. Fielder's choice in the middle of the diamond. Man, this grass is still robust. That ground ball, you could hear it hissing through the grass as it was fighting those thick green blades at City Park. Two away. Shortstop Will Toger made the flip to Genoa Trujillo for out number 2. Ball 1 to Hank Smith. Hank batting average of .422. Wow. Got a handful of Foxes in the 4s, and the batting average is Aiden Young is at .407 and added a hit tonight, so that went up. Nate Eliason in limited ABs, .458, just 24 at-bats on the year. Phoenix West at .455. Ryan Vandiver, .451. Drew Oreskes, .423, and Hank Smith, .422 his batting average. Some are collegiate league stats, so you give one here, take one there. Got a 3-0 count up to Hank Smith. Alcoof sends it in and stayed in the zone with that. Hank, 2 long balls on the year. He's got 5 doubles on the season. A triple in the mix. Parks like, ooh, there's a shot to second that'll get past Trujillo and quickly to Dalton Berg in right. That thing was out in right in a hurry. No chance for Genoa Trujillo. He reached, but that ball was through cleanly. Hank Smith, rocket single RBI, scoring Nori Todd. And the Foxes still have first and second. They match their first inning output with another 3 here in the second. Ball up to Owen May. The only 2 hits of the first inning were bunts for the Foxes by Nori Todd and Larry Haskins. First 2 batters both bunted and singled. Alcoof working with 2 outs here against May. He'll end of the bat, chop one toward Toger, who makes a little ballet leap at the end of that and steps on to second base, unassisted on the fielder's choice. May hits the ground ball. That'll cap the second inning. First inning, there were 3 runs for the Foxes on 2 hits, those 2 bunts. In the second inning, they go 3 runs again. 4 hits in that frame by Nori Todd, a single for Phoenix West, same for Hank Smith, and the leadoff single from Aiden Young. 6 runs on 6 hits for the Foxes in the middle of the second. It's 7, 8, and 9 for the Prospectors. Genoa Trujillo, Kyler Adams, Braden Thompson. Pitch 1 of the bottom of the second is inside, tight on Genoa Trujillo. Now up from TJ McCraw, starter for the Foxes, misses on the first 2. McCraw there got to the zone, and Trujillo was way early on that. End of the bat, slivered down the opposite side, first base line, down to Coach Chris Nabenshu, who is coaching first base. Got a stopwatch in his hand. There's a strike. McCraw evens up the count. Prospectors assistant coach Jamie Thompson is coaching third tonight, has at least for these first 2 innings. Produced 1 run in the first. Try it again. And I know what's going on here, Nobby. Prospectors usually are in the third base dugout, although Jamie Thompson's coached a fair amount of third this season too. Nobby often in the dugout with Braden Thompson, player coach, playing tonight. Nobby's taking the short walk tonight. They're in the first base dugout, and he's coaching first. Short stroll. Strikeout is 1 away. Down goes Trujillo. Nice job by TJ McCraw working back in that count. First 2 pitches were balls, and then McCraw went to work on Trujillo, got the K. Kyler Adams batting. Adams watches one wide of the zone, ball 1. Kyler hitting .238 on the summer, but his on-base percentage at .789, more than 3 times his batting average. Almost got on with a hit by pitch there. That one trimmed right by Adams. 10 hits on the summer for Kyler. 3 home runs of those 10. 3 out of the yard. 8 walks on the year. Twice as many strikeouts. Adams here is being handed a pass. Well, we look at that again. That on-base percentage is kind of Redonk for a 238 batting average, but he just padded it. Adams, the 789 on base percentage, climbs higher with the walk. Got a courtesy runner coming out for NoCo. That'll be Jace Satterfield running for the catcher, Kyler Adams. Open up the count to Braden Thompson, takes ball one. A game and a half scheduled to be played in Gering, Nebraska tonight at the Western Nebraska Pioneers Park, Oregon Trail Park in Gering. Game and a half on the slate, but none and a half happening. Popped up, angle comes over toward the fence. That one is going to land. Ooh, it hit luckily everybody cleared and covered up. No fans were injured in the filming of this game, at least not yet. That clanged off of one of the metal benches, like a park bench installed over there. There's bleacher seating, obviously, and then right next to that there's a little metal, your typical seating plank with a back, metal style, banged right off of the back of that bench just outside the fencing, first base side. This ball is turned on and hammered by Braden Thompson. That's your number 9 batter. Exit stage left for Braden Thompson, who turns on one. Jace Satterfield, the courtesy runner in front of him, can trot it out. And the player coach teaching everybody a little something about the home run hack. 2 ribbies for Braden Thompson, and they get the lead trimmed down to a half of what they have now, 6-3. Braden Thompson slotted a pitch right there. He turned on that thing and destroyed it to left. Over and out. Larry Haskins watched it fly away in left field. Suarez goes first pitch, trying to keep the fireworks going, and got nothing there. For Braden Thompson, that is his first home run of the summer. He's had 50 at-bats now. Hadn't hit one out of the park. Came in with just 8 hits on the year, batting a paltry 163. That's like Mendoza Jr. on the Mendoza line. 1-2 count to Riley Suarez. He rolls it to the middle. May stays down on it. Nice play by Owen May at short. That ball was contouring the grass and took a little bit of a skip hop at the end. Good fundamental fielding by May. He was in great position just to make a read and a little hands adjustment there. And no bobble. That's all it took there. You get just a mini bobble on that, and the runner's there with Suarez getting down the line. 2 out. Lights pop on at City Park from the control box right below my Fox box under the bleachers. It's got a padlock on it. Don't get any ideas. Public. People with authorization pop those lights on. Back in the day, though, when I first started doing announcing at my dad's softball fields when I was 10, this ball to right will be caught by Bertucci off the bat of Dax Vila. 3 out, 2 runs on the home run from Thompson. When I was a little peep announcing at the softball fields, the lights, it just used to be a little lever on a box up on the berm at Riverside Park in Fort Morgan. You just walk over there and throw that sucker up, hear the bang of the electricity, and it was game on. These days they have padlocks. Life ain't what it used to be. Score ain't what it used to be. They're at 6-3 now. Prospectors get the 2-run shot from Braden Thompson. Foxes have scored 3 in each inning. The Prospectors have answered with 1 in the first and 2 in the second. Third inning of a 9-inning ball game. Foxes batting, leading 6-3, and they'll go 7, 8, 9. Oreskes, Young, and Angle. All right, well, that's weird. Pitcher Nathan Alcoof was just jamming out to the walk-up song of Drew Oreskes. Can you do that as a pitcher? I don't know about that. That's suspect right there. Granted, Drew's walk-up song is lit or awesome. Another way to describe that. But Alcoof, while he's waiting for Oreskes to dig in, was doing a little head bob dance move. That pitch fouled over my truck and into the ditch at City Park. Ditch had run dry a couple days ago. The water flow was backed off in City Park. Ditch number 5, I want to say that one is. Hopefully that ball is recoverable. Chopper toward third. Grabbed, gloved, and an arcing throw across. Had time there. Nicely played by Dom Lefevre.
First down.
Knew his runner was not one of the speedy speeders of the lineup of the Foxes, and just made a good throw across, got the out, one down. Some use the red light, green light on assessments of batters if they get to running. Red light runner usually not as fast, not as much for wheels. Green light runner is a guy who gets down the line. Other terms are used too, but that's sometimes the categorization of runners to know for infielders what kind of pace you have to be on to get a throw across, and Lefevre went red light on that one. Aiden Young batted number 3 last night in the win over El Paso County Baseball Miracles. Aiden had 1 hit in the game, a couple sacrifice flies. Swings and got nothing there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nathan Alcoof pitching in his 9th game of the season tonight. 9 appearances for Alcoof, starting tonight after Jack Prenny was scratched. By scratched, meaning like you take your pen on the lineup card. Not that he had a cat attack him before the game. That's not why he's out. Alcoof, before tonight, had thrown 18 2/3 innings in 8 appearances, so about 2.5 innings per appearance, and 2 1/4, if there was such a thing. Let's call it 2 1/3. That's more like baseball math right there. And he's working here in his 3rd frame with 1 out. He's actually on 2 1/3 right now statistically as Alcoof, with 1 out in the top of the 3rd. Good pitch by Nathan. That'll be in the hole at short. Sliding try by Toger. Pretty nice play by Toger. It's going to be an infield hit as that ball to the hole was back at the back lip into the outfield grass. And the pop-up slide backhand effort from Toger, he almost produced something special. Young is safe at first, and Vinny Engel bats. Top of the order, Nori Todd is next up. Alcoof, the ERA at 8.39 before tonight, and Engel hammers a pitch to right. Dalton Berg plays it down on a hop. He wanted to go make a diving effort at that, but pulled up and read that better, holding everybody to 1 base there, including the batter, Vinny Engel, who singles, pushes Young to second. Courtesy runner for Engel for the 2nd time will be Elijah Morales with the hair flowing as he runs across. Blaze Morales likes to leave the helmet off as long as he can to let the hair really just work its magic. And it is pure magic. Ball 1 to top of the order, Nori Todd. Couple balls for Todd. Alcoof with the 8.39 ERA, 8.39 the ERA, a whip of 2.08. Walks, hits per inning pitch, 2, just above 2. Todd, that's a shot towards center, and reaching up, can't get the ball. Dax Vila had it tick off his glove. Young coming around, he will score. Elijah Morales will go to third base as the courtesy runner. Nori hit that ball hard. That thing came off on a line rocket. Center fielder Dax Vila got over there, but that thing still had boost on it, and it blazed right through the tip of the webbing. Give that a single for Nori Todd and an RBI. It's a ball that Vila could have, would have, and should have caught, and it's also one that their regular center fielder Riley Suarez, he's a little taller. Vila was having to reach, kind of trying to jump, but he's on the run, and he was extended up with the arm. Ran out of inches. Runner going. This ball spanked to right. That is deep and beyond the reach of Dalton Berg. Larry Haskins. So just like they went back-to-back bunts in the first inning, Nori Todd and Larry Haskins go back-to-back barrels. Larry lights one up to right. That'll drive in a run and push Todd around to third base. Nori had to hold on there and couldn't get going until he saw that down over Dalton Berg, who made a fine effort in right. That ball toward the corner below the scoreboard out in right. Berg almost got to it. Berg is a left-handed thrower, which means his glove is on the center field side of his body in right. He had to reach across himself toward the foul line. That might have been the difference. He was on the run, running toward his throwing hand side, not his glove hand side. Just not quite enough extension. So you have 2 balls in the inning that were almost to gloves. Instead, you got the Foxes putting more on the board. 8-3 the score, and Phoenix West took a strike that makes it 1-1. Another strike taken. Phoenix actually turning around laughing right with the plate umpire standing 1.5 feet away from him. Got a 1-2 count. Wide stance for Phoenix. Extended front leg. He'll swing and miss. Phoenix swings and strikes out, and wisely in the follow-through of his swing, he just let that momentum carry him back toward the third base dugout and didn't say anything or make any kind of indication back toward the plate umpire. Live to fight another day. Moving on. 2 outs. Nick Bertucci. Katy Perry. Song Firework. I don't think I have a single, do I? A single liked song on Spotify from Katy Perry. But if Nick likes it, I'll like it. Katy, you're getting another like tonight. There's the click. And it's been added. Ball 1. Fouled back from Bertucci, 1-1 count. That is a pretty lit song. Firework. I'm going to try to use the word lit as many times as I can tonight, in or out of context. Understanding my role as an influencer. Say stuff that doesn't make sense. Just trying to hang in there, trying to remain relevant. Strike called, and Bertucci, after fouling one off, now has 2 against him, 1-2 count. Nathan Alcoof. This would be the lowest production inning of the game so far for the Foxes if he can hold them to a 2 spot here. A 3, and now a 2. And still going here in the 3rd inning. Prospectors, the home team tonight at City Park. Busy stretch of days coming up at City Park. You got Deuces, 2-2 count, 2 outs, got 2 aboard. 32 at the plate. Bertucci looks at this delivery from Alcoof, who got a swing and a strike. Back-to-back strikeouts from Nathan Alcoof limit the damage. 4 hits in the inning, 2 runs produced. Singles from Young and Engel and Todd in a row. And Larry Haskins the double, 2 runs across. Foxes 8-3. And the Prospectors, bottom of 3, will have their 3-batter, catcher Gladish, Daltonberg, Will Toger coming up. Get you into the comments. First, we'll start off with Jay O'Connor. Here's pregame conversation with assistant coach and pitching coach for the Foxes, Jay O'Connor.
Foxes and Prospectors at City Park. Thad Anderson with Jay O'Connor, pitching coach for the Fort Collins Foxes. Coach, first of all, thanks for the time you're putting in and the effort. Obviously, the team's running well this summer, but doesn't go very far without some guys kind of helping get it along. You've done a great job. Thank you for what you're doing this summer.
Yeah, thanks, Dad. It's been a good start to the year. We've won, obviously, a lot of games early on, but we're in the home stretch now, and hopefully we can keep getting those wins.
All right, so the first obvious thing, not to you because you sound normal to you, but we all notice a little accent. There's a couple guys on the roster, so can you tell us the background? Like, what's your path through baseball out of Australia, and then also maybe the connection to some players on the roster, sort of how this all came together?
Yeah, so I started playing when I was about 5 years old, played all my juniors in Australia. I ended up going to college in Oklahoma, a JUCO called Redlands. The connection with the players, so Nick Bertucci lives about 35-40 minutes from where I am back home. I coached against his dad for multiple years, and then Ryan Othen as well. He plays for the club I played at and coach at. He plays for them, one of our biggest rivals. So he lives about 50 minutes from me as well. So there's the connection with our 2 guys, and yeah, just been coming out for the summers now and helping out where I can.
First batter of the bottom of 3 is catcher Gladish. He hits one hard toward the right center gap. Nori Todd, the center fielder, gets there and settles to make the catch. Got back to a flat-footed position to catch that. Was not on the run anymore as Todd closes the gap. 1 away. Dalton Berg, RBI double in the first inning. Berg, lefty batting. This is the good stuff. Kind of cool. Fox's starting pitcher, TJ McCraw, is working in his 3rd inning now as the starter tonight. And he's got family on hand here in the bleachers at City Park in Fort Collins. TJ from Wichita Falls, Texas. During an inning break, I'm here in my Fox box. I got a little bit of a barrier. I'm in the bleachers, but got some walls here and creates a little bit of a buffer from wide open crowd. Fouled off here by Berg. He's got a couple strikes against him. The score booth here is teeny small with really bad counter space. So you can't really get set up well. Don't have space for your info and the whole bit. So we had the Fox box built by David Morrow, fine resident of northern Colorado, lives in Bellevue off the edge of Fort Collins toward the foothills. High pop-up fly ball out to left field is caught. Berg sails one to Larry Haskins in left. 2 down, Toger batting. So I'm in my box here. Between innings, got my little wooden half walls, and a Texan, the head of a Texan, pops up next to me. Never met him before. Said his name's Jim Leonard. Said he's the grandpa of Fox's starting pitcher, TJ McCraw. Nice of Mr. Leonard to come over and say hello. He just popped up, said, "Hey, I just want to tell you we love your commentary. Thanks a lot." Good for them to be able to listen to games in Texas on the Front Range Baseball Network. Thanks to Mr. Leonard for taking the time to come and say hello. That was kind of cool. He said, yeah, we're just here. Just came in to watch some games, and awesomely, TJ McCraw materializes in a start on the bump for the Foxes tonight. So Grandpa and Fam getting a chance to watch their guy out of Texas fling it into the third inning. He gives up a walk here to Will Toger.
Now batting number 17, Dom Lefevre.
Dom Lefevre. Prospectors have mustered, not catch-up, but they've mustered a run, at least one in each of their first 2 innings. They got one in the first, 2 in the second. They got 2 out here and hoping to use that 2-out walk as momentum into another tally. They're down 8-3. Strike 1 to Lefevre. 1 hit in each inning. A double in the first was an RBI producer after a 2-out walk. Double by Berg after Gladish walked. Here's Lefevre shooting it through the left side. Rolls one through past shortstop in the 5.5 hole. The reason for the 5.5 reference, I know 99% of you are on it, but for the 1% who's like 5.5, what are we talking about? Defensive position 5 is third base. Defensive position 6 is shortstop. So between them is the 5.5 hole. You could say 3.5 hole on the right side of the infield. First baseman is the position number 3 in the scorebook. Second baseman is 4. But more commonly, 5.5 is the reference in the hole over on the left side of the infield. Popularized by Tony Gwynn, Hall of Famer. Mr. Padre, spent his whole career with the Padres in San Diego after going to San Diego State for college. And then coaching at his alma mater later in his life. One of the best pure hitters of all time, the lefty Gwynn, used to flip opposite way balls through that 5.5 hole relentlessly to build his lifetime 300 average. Ground ball to second. West will make a backhand snag on that and step on 2, and nothing in the frame for the Prospectors. Ground ball from Shanoa Trujillo is a fielder's choice, and that for either side is the first inning that a run didn't go up, first half inning that a run was not scored. They got 2 aboard with 2 away, and then that ended with the ground ball to Phoenix West. 3 innings in the books. More of the conversation with Fox's assistant coach and pitching coach, Jay O'Connor.
So with the game in the United States, as you've seen it, and maybe in Australia, what could you tell people here about the kind of shape of the game in Australia, maybe as a kid growing up, and then for guys as they get older? What does it look like there?
We have club ball, so we play at the same club pretty much from when we start, whatever age you start at, right through into the seniors competition, the men's competition. And then the pathway from there is you get seen. There's multiple college scouts and professional scouts that help guys from Australia get into the college program. And yeah.
What does your baseball life look like now outside of the couple months you spent here in the summer? What are you doing now as a baseball guy?
So I coach at a club called Waverley back home. I'll go down Tuesday, Thursday nights when I can, hit fungo, throw BP, work with the pitchers, and then get to games when I can. But I've got 2 kids back home, so my summers, Australian summers, are mainly with them and doing that, and that's my commitment there. But I get down to the club as much as I can and help out where I can, sort of thing.
With this year's Foxes team, what's the unique profile, or what are things you'll remember about this group after it's done?
They're a great bunch of kids. Everyone on the team gets along, and yeah, just the commitment. We've won a lot of games, and we've won a few games quite easily, so to stay locked in through those games and keep putting on runs and keep showing up just shows how good of not just the team playing wise, but how good of people we have around too. So
Got another segment, one more coming from Jay O'Connor, coach with the Foxes, after experiencing ball in this area last year, just across the line up in Nebraska with the Western Nebraska Pioneers. Got a foul ball return coming to me, but I don't have any dollars here. I've got peanut butter crackers. I've got a Slim Jim. Or you can go to the merchandise tent over there. They give you the dollars over there. You want the dollar? Oh, man. I'll take the icy. You can take them right down there. She stole that ball? We got controversy here at the park. You can't get $1 for a stolen ball. Sorry, I was directing traffic here in the bleachers. Hank Smith is batting with a 1-1 count. Top of the fourth. Couple kids. Kind of like Grandpa Jim Leonard's head popped up over the sidewall of my Fox box. Couple kids' heads popped up at the front. I'm looking out the field, and all of a sudden there's two little heads there, one with a pretty nice-looking icy from the shaved ice truck that's here tonight. And they both held up baseballs, wanted their $1. There's another one that'll be for $1. That one bounces off the front door of my Fort Collins Baseball Club office. More damage. Building has seen a lot of ball over the years. Fort Collins Baseball Club, founded in 1961, nonprofit serving over 2,500 youth and their families across various levels of baseball, 4-year-old to 24-year-old. Fort Collins Baseball Club, proud to be affiliated with the Front Range League and Fort Collins Fox's NoCo Prospectors Boulder 64's operation. Al Koof has 2 strikes on Smith. Here's the pitch, and Smith taps it away. Just got a piece of it to stay alive. Thanks to our 2-umpire crew tonight, Jordan Bishop and Zane Covey. 2-umpire crews, the norm and the standard across the collegiate summer landscape. Had a 3-umpire crew last night in Colorado Springs. Little bonus there. It's 3 guys who are just buddies and enjoy working good, high-level umpires, and threw a 3rd guy on last night. Ben Ayette was behind the plate. Corey Monroe was down the first base line, and Tim Dumas joined him after umpiring in Pueblo during the day. He came over to Springs, finished off the night joining the guys. Another foul ball, another $1, sails to the left field, or the foul left side. Full count working to Hank Smith, who is leading off the top of the 4th with an extended AB against the starter Nathan Al Koof into his 4th inning of work, and it's a walk pitch. Bullpen is running for the Prospectors. Well, they're throwing, not running. It's operational, is what I mean. It's Owen May. He is 0 for 1, a fielder's choice ground ball in the second. He walked in the first and was stranded. First pitch to May, started the hands and then held back as that pitch finished down to the dirt. Ball 1. For the Prospectors in the bullpen, Riggs, Towel. Al Koof's pitch. That's into right field. Base hit for May. Reaches out and delivers that line drive. Solid single from Owen May. It's a nice swing on a pitch that was kind of down and away from him. Some extension available to Owen. He shaped that swing nicely to get through that ball with the bat head. Drew Oreskes, the DH, 0 for 2 in this game. 2 aboard. Now I'm all perplexified. Scoreboard has 1 out on it, but I can't figure out where that would have come from. Here's a ground ball towards second. Snagged by Trujillo. Nice play by Genoa. He had to make a reach and a web snag backhand side at second base. That thing looked like it was going through to the outfield. Well struck by Oreskes with some pace on it. Fielder's choice. There's one away, and runners to the corners. One out is the proper update. Owen May forced out at second base. Oreskes on at first. Strike one to Aiden Young. Alcoof with runners on the corners and one away. So he steps off that move right there. The pitcher stepping off and not throwing to first. As long as you disengage off the back of the rubber, you don't have to throw the ball to first, but that's close to a jump move. He's done that twice, and it's been well read by the umpires. No balk call made on that. Ball towards second. Field umpire ducks it. 4-6. Toger makes a spin and a throw and turns it. That's the second ballet move that Will Toger has made tonight. Dude is dancy, light on his feet. Toger takes the feed from Trujillo, spins to make his throw, and it's a 4-6-3 DP. And the Prospectors, for the first time tonight, do not allow a run to the Foxes in a frame of batting for Fort Collins. DP ground ball caps the top of the fourth. Bottom of the fourth, 8, 9, and 1. Kyler Adams and Braden Thompson and Riley Suarez coming to the plate. Bottom of 4, down by 5 for the Prospectors.
It's proven in this league this summer. It's been an offensive league. A lot of runs going on the board. Kind of hard to slow offenses down. But you work with the pitching staff, and there's a lot of good arms on this staff. Can you tell us kind of just about the profile of this pitching staff, and especially for the playoffs, what does this staff have that could lead to you guys winning the league this year?
We definitely have a younger roster than I had last year. A lot of kids, or quite a few, that have come just out of high school. So it's been good to be able to work with them, teach them little things like that you don't really recognise sometimes, as in like game calling, situational pitches, working in counts, all that sort of stuff. And then moving into the playoffs and into the home stretch, it's just a matter of getting them more mentally ready for the stronger teams, and having confidence in them and them having confidence in themselves to know that they can compete and can win at this level.
How's Fort Collins been for you? What do you think of the town?
Fort Collins is incredible. Such a beautiful town, so much to do. The College Avenue is great. Everything you could possibly need on that street. So it's a lot better than Gearing, Nebraska, which is very, very quiet where I was last year. So it's good.
Any Australian town you'd compare this to, or does this seem really different from places at home?
Not the main towns. There is a city called Caulfield back home, and it has similar vibes with the being nice and green and the big trees, and an older city with beautiful parks. That's what I would translate to. That's in Melbourne. But in reference to big cities, Denver would be a lot like Melbourne, where I'm from.
Well, again, thanks for the effort this summer. Appreciate it. Doing a good job with the team. Good luck with the rest of the season.
Awesome. Thank you, Thad.
Thanks to Jay O'Connor. Comments in tonight's game. Going to hear from Chris Nobbenshoe also during the game tonight. Chop up an interview between some inning breaks with Nobby. And that was the last of 3 segments fired off in this game from a conversation with Jay O'Connor, Fox's coach. Also planning to spend a little time on headset with Preston Munch, the owner of the Foxes and the NoCo Prospectors and the Boulder 64s. And one of the 2 founding officers of the Front Range League, Chuck Heeman with the Western Nebraska Pioneers, and Preston Munch heading up the effort of the new Summer Collegiate Woodbat League in the Front Range of Colorado and up into Nebraska. 8 teams in this inaugural year. FrontRangeLeague.com is the web address, FrontRangeLeague.com. TJ McCraw works to his 4th inning. His family liked that pitch over here right in front of the score booth, just to the home plate side of the Fox box where I'm at. I'm just off the plate. The camera angle you see is what I see, just to the first base side of home plate, and his family is just to the third base side of home plate. McCraw had 2 strikes there, and they thought the family did. He might have gotten him, didn't get the call. Shaved ice truck, look out. Oh, didn't get it. That slams down on the asphalt. Bounces past the Foxes and Prospectors merchandise tent. Rolls over to my baseball truck, and somebody's got $1. Winner, winner, $1. McCraw's pitch on a 2-2. That'll go full now to Kyler Adams. This is the Front Range Baseball Network on YouTube. All Front Range League games stream here on the network, including the championship sequence. At the end of the slate, top 4 teams will go to a single elim semifinals and championship game here at City Park in Fort Collins. Well, McCraw took a long time with Kyler Adams. They dueled in that at-bat, and Adams prevails with a free pass. The catcher will get a courtesy runner. Kyler Adams steps off of first base. Looked like Joshua Grenzenbach. Never really did see the number on the back. I think it was 19. Grenzenbach was up on the bump for the Prospectors in Colorado Springs 2 days ago against El Paso County Baseball. I'm trying to verify that's Joshua. I believe that's who took over as courtesy runner for Kyler Adams, with the leadoff batter aboard by walk. Prospectors try to cut into a 5-run deficit, 9-inning ball game. Run rule is 10 after 7. Foxes are halfway there right now, but the Prospectors have not batted in the 4th, so give them their equal chance to see what it looks like after 4. Nobby running the stopwatch at first base, trying to get times to the plate on the pitcher McCraw and feed some data to his first base runner, who does not take off here. Pitch skips in, Angle snags it, flings it, and back safely. I think I totally misread that number. But to be honest, still haven't seen it. Was it a 4 or a 1? Was it a 9 or an 8? The mystery continues. McCraw's pitch, fouled straight back. Full count. That's down the line in left, and Braden Thompson has 2 barrels tonight, ripping a shot into the left field corner, putting runners at second and third. Thompson homered in the second, and he just got out in front of a pitch in a rocket shot down the line for 2 bags. Thompson at second. Nobody out, and the top of the order, Riley Suarez. Yeah, and a brutal case of mistaken identity. Well, okay, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. That is Jack McCray running, the courtesy runner. That is a 49 on his back. I thought I saw a 19. So, come on, America. You can understand, right? I mean, he never really turned. I was just trying to see edges of digits on his back. I thought I saw 19. It's not Grenzenbach. It's Jack McCray, courtesy running at third. Suarez fouled away. That's to the north field. We're on the south side of the two fields here at City Park, with the sun cutting from the northwest off to the right side of your screen. The sun shoots back across from right to left, spraying the last of its rays for the day across the middle part of the field. North field is empty tonight, no other action. Foxes and Prospectors have the stage to themselves here in City Park. Ball down from McCraw. You got McCraw running at third. I just McCrayed McCraw. My bad. Pitch from McCraw, and he pulled that wide. That's going to get through to the backstop, and that's McCraw scoring on the wild pitch from McCraw.
Run scores for the Prospectors. Prospectors 4, Foxes.
Braden Thompson up to third base, moving after his double. The lead back to half of the runs scored by the Prospectors. They're down 8-4. Fox's bullpen is at work. Few bodies stirring in the Prospectors bullpen down the right side, but no throwing going on. Riley Suarez on an elevated pitch. He'll swing and miss that strikeout. Dax Vila, 2 flyouts to right field on the night for Vila. Vila, before tonight, 25 at-bats, so now 27 with 2 in the books tonight. 27 on the season, batting .280. All of his hits for singles so far this summer. One out, 1 run in. Bottom of 4. McCraw's pitch had some spin on it, and Vinny Engel, the catcher, liked it. It's a ball. Vinny points out to his pitcher, liked how he executed that, did not get the offer from Dax Vila. It would have been probably weak, soft to the right side. That same pitch, or very similar, breaks down to the dirt again. And it's 3-1. Vila batting number 2. Catcher Gladish on deck. If Vila reaches, Gladish, dude who could tie it with one hack. And there is a walk pitch. So Braden Thompson, who is at third base right now, he's got a long ball in the game, proving that the air traffic is open for business tonight. That is the only home run of the game. Braden Thompson's home run, and the Foxes are going to put catcher Gladish on. Intentional walk. Don't have to throw the pitches. Just order him up, send him on, and that's an intentional walk to load the bags, and a visit to the mound from Jay O'Connor. He points to the bullpen. Looks like the lefty's coming on. Dalton Berg is the number 4 batter. He's a left-handed batter, and there's a lefty pitcher coming for the Fort Collins Foxes. TJ McCraw, nice start tonight for the Foxes. He records 1 out in the bottom of the 4th, so goes 3 1/3, and 3 runners are his responsibility, including that intentional pass that just loaded the bases for the Prospectors. And the pitching change for the Foxes in the 4th. They are the first to go to their bullpen in this matchup, sibling rivalry of connected teams, Foxes and Prospectors. And the Foxes make the change to lefty Connor Kearns. Kearns now warming up in the bottom of 4, 1 out, bases full in a 4-run game. Prospectors trying to make the move.
River Morgan presents famous baseball quotes.
You tell me right now, Jimmy Morris.
It's supposed to be always in your
If it wasn't hard, Everyone would do second base.
The
and
hard
keep your foot
is what
on
makes
first.
it great.
You want to have a catch? Smalls.
All yard baseball. All yard baseball. All yard baseball. All yard baseball.
Bases full. Connor Kern's first pitch, and cleanup batter Dalton Berg was ready to pounce. It's all in good spirit, and guys understand the game, but nobody really wants to be intentionally walked in front of. Typically, as an offense, as a hitter, you take that as much as you can as an insult. Oh, yeah, you want me? Berg went big on the first pitch. Second pitch, he hits to the right side. That'll hang up for Bertucci. Sac fly. And tagging up to score is Braden Thompson. 8-5 the count with a sac fly from Dalton Berg. I know he wanted more than that, but it's a productive fly out to right field, trimming the lead to 3 for the Foxes. Other runners stick where they were, just one tag up on the play. Two outs. 8-5 the count. Runners at first and second. And a strike recorded to Will Toger. Toger, like Gladish, one of the guys who has demonstrated the long ball is in his arsenal. That would tie it if Toger sent one out of the yard. He's going to bounce one toward short. Tough ball, and that's through Owen May. Couple bouncer through the infield. Going to send a runner around, and 2 are scoring on that. Gladish scores, Vila scores, and it's a one-run ball game. Toger cranks the hammer shot through the infield. It ate up Owen May. Tough ball for May.
Now batting number 17, Dom
Put
Levere.
2 more on the board, and it's a one-run margin. After the pitching change, a sac fly, and Toger score that as a 2-bagger. That ball was also fumbled in center field a little bit by Nori Todd. I think the runner was probably going anyway, but that sealed the deal coming around third for Coach Jamie Thompson at third. He kept the wheel going to bring Vila and then Gladish around. 4 runs in the inning for the Prospectors, and can they pick up the tying run with Lefevre batting? 2 outs and a runner at second. Toger, not one of the speedsters of the Prospectors. He'll be trying to score on a single if Lefevre shoots one out into the grass. Dom has a hit on the night. He's 1 for 2. Line out to center. Had a single in the third. Count shows 2-2 on the board with 2 down. That's toward the middle. Backhand play by West. He makes a little jump throw, and that's wide of the bag, and that will tie the game. Error at second base on the throw. Lefevre makes it into second just in front of the throw. Scooped up off of the side fence by Hank Smith, just behind Lefevre. Home comes Toger.
That'll bring up number
Fox's
3,
defense
Genoa
yields one there. And the game goes even. 5 runs in the frame for the Prospectors. Prospectors bullpen still working. Riggs Towel in the pen. Ball 1 to Genoa Trujillo, 9th batter of the inning for NoCo. That pitch overthrown, and it bounces off the plate. Lefevre moves up to third. Wild pitch. NoCo Prospectors have put some games up against the top teams in the league, threatening this ball up the middle, and NoCo has the lead. Genoa Trujillo, nice piece of hitting. He reaches out and just spanks that through the right side on 2 outs and an RBI. The wild pitch moving Lefevre over to third, and the next opportunity that came, Genoa Trujillo sends him to the plate. It's 9-8. The home team, Prospectors. Swing and empty for Adams. He's batting for the second time in the inning. He walked to start the inning. Courtesy runner then took over for him. Jack McCray brought home the run as the courtesy runner. Kern's pitch is wide, bending toward the zone, but didn't quite make it there. NoCo Prospectors have had some disappointing results running in competitive games against top teams in the league, but they've threatened numerous times. Here they're doing it again with the Foxes. Swing and a miss for Adams. 1-2. They have 3 wins over the Pueblo Spradley Collegians, a 6-5 win, a 10-9 win, and also a 15-4 blowout of one of the teams right now in the mix for the top 4 for the playoffs. Prospectors sitting with the 5th best record in the Front Range League of the 8 teams, but they have hung around, made it tight with some of the top squads in the league, losing 12-11 to the Western Nebraska Pioneers. Had the lead late and coughed that up. Adams rolls it to short, sliding play at short. May fires the throw over the top, and that's another. That ball goes behind the dugout. That's going to be dead back there. So that'll put runners on second and third. I think Adams should be moving up to second on that.
Now batting number 34,
Overthrow and dead ball. And I don't think they would score the runner, Genoa Trujillo, on that. He would get third, but not more. Had second. Yep, they're going to get that set up the right way. Base umpire Zane Covey talking to plate umpire Jordan Bishop. Runners will be at second and third here after the good ground ball. Again, well-hit ball by Adams. He'll get a courtesy runner here for the second time in the inning. It'll be courtesy runner Jack McCray, who's already scored once in the frame, running for the catcher Adams. Conversation at the mound for the Foxes as the umpires finished sorting out their interpretation of an overthrow from short that then hit the fence and side bounced back behind the dugout. There's a little gap between the fence and the dugout, and the ball wound up back there. Runners at second and third. Kearns. Lefty comes to the plate and rips one across the zone. Braden Thompson has been the guy tonight for the NoCo Prospectors from the number 9 spot. He's 2 for 2 with a double and a home run. 2 RBI, 2 runs scored. The home run was a 2-run shot in the second inning. Can he do it again? 1-1 count to Thompson. Confidence overflowing for Braden, feeling good tonight. 2 extra base hits. 6 total bases in the 2 at-bats. Total bases calculated by the type of hits you have. So a single is 1 total base, double is 2, triple is 3, and the home run is 4 total bases. He's got 6 TBs in the game and a 2-1 count here. Back pick to 3, and that is in time. Coming too far down the line. Genoa Trujillo, Vinny Engel poaches him with a back pick to third. Fox's third baseman Aiden Young sticks the tag, and that's how the Foxes escape the frame. 10 batters, and in the midst of the 11th, Braden Thompson will restart his at-bat in the bottom of 5. That's a big inning. 10.5 batters came to the plate, and 6 runs came across it, made the full circuit. 9-8, Prospectors have the lead over the Foxes going to the 5th inning of a 9-inning ball game. Big frame for the Prospectors. Foxes have their 9-1-2. Vinny Engel just backpicked a runner. He'll lead off in the top of the 5th. Saturday night at the ball. Is it Saturday? Is that right? Yeah. Summertime. Whatever day it is. One of the 7 days. It ends in day. I know that. Saturday night at City Park in Fort Collins. Thad Anderson on the Front Range Baseball Network. And the real show begins now. Preston Munch, thanks for coming up.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. Beautiful night here at City Park. And we got a ball game here, right? Prospectors. You know, these young guys just keep fighting, keep grinding, and here we are. They're up by 1.
A 6-run frame in the bottom of the 4th, and the Prospectors take the lead. I was just talking about the fact that the Prospectors, they've beaten Pueblo, Spradley Collegians a couple times, but they had a 1-run loss to the Pioneers. I mean, they've put some games on people. They're running 5th in the standings, but when they put it together and they've got good management, good coaching, this team can play with anybody in the league.
Yeah, they can, and I think it really starts at top with their coaching staff. And Coach Nabichu, or Nabi as we call him, he comes with tremendous experience, and he is the perfect guy, right, for these young players. And talking about close games, it was probably, 3-4 weeks ago, they were playing in Boulder in a doubleheader, and Thad, they could have swept that doubleheader very easily, but you could see the young kids, they kind of tightened up there at the end, but these guys scrap, and I love watching them play.
Yeah, I agree. I was talking to Nabi in Colorado Springs at Block Tickets Park, and we'll hear his interview here later in the game. I'll cut that into some mid-innings. But interesting that the last time he had coached at that park, he was ejected last year. That story's in that interview. Riggs Towell has taken over for the NoCo Prospectors, and I've said this in Springs after talking to Riggs. From day one of Media Day here in the summer, Toll is what I had written down. I know the public address, Adam, he's been saying Towley. I asked Riggs, and he did tell me they say it Towel. So I'm just cleaning that up for everybody. Want to get it right for the fam out there. Riggs Towell is on facing Vinny Engel. Preston, on the summer here, and I mentioned it in the game tonight, talked about it before, Mesa Sports Group is the name of the larger entity. these are sibling teams here, the Foxes and the Prospectors. I guess one thing, I know you picked up the Foxes a couple seasons ago, but the Prospectors, interesting how their origin came about. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so, when we were looking at different coaches, different opportunities, we had the chance to get to meet Coach Nabachu. And I still remember sitting down having coffee with him, and he just sucked me in, right, with his knowledge. And so I said, Coach, we got to figure out a way to get you a team. And I said, you have such great experience. So we started literally like throwing out ideas. And so he started talking to the local coaches in the community and said, all right, what's the need? And the need really was finding a summer place for, I guess, two kids, right? Kids that are going from high school baseball to college ball. They need somewhere to play. And then those kids that maybe redshirted in college and get an opportunity to play as well. And so that's really where Prospectors was created, kind of hence the name as well as Prospectors. And I tell you, under the coaching staff, him and Coach Thompson done a great job. They're fun to watch. And, again, I always say the word scrappy, right? And so that's kind of how the team was created.
Vinny Angle just bounced the ball off of Riggs Towell's shoe, I think it was. He came out unscathed, but a kick save and a beauty from Towell. He records the 1-3 putout, one away Nori Todd in the box. We had an interview in this game that I played already. We'll hear from Nobby, and I worked with Nobby at Triple Crown probably 10 years ago, and that was years and years into his experience. Like you said, he's a baseball lifer and a real impact around Northern Colorado. I talked with Jay O'Connor earlier in this game. We heard his conversation. Here's Towell's pitch out to Todd. The coaching staff, I know there was a late change in the game for the Foxes as far as the leadership of the team. How did you get Jay O'Connor? You ripped him away from the Western Nebraska Pioneers, is that right?
Yeah, so when we were building this staff, Coach O'Connor, he was someone we brought on kind of early after last season, and he wanted to continue to come to the States during the summer. So we got him pretty early, but then on top, we made some changes there, and we were fortunate to bring in Coach Larry McCann. It was funny, and we did multiple interviews with Coach, and I said, Coach, one of the things we require with all of our coaches, because you're leading young men, is we require a background check. That is a requirement. And he kind of chuckled, and I said, Coach, what's that about? And he said, well, I think I'm going to be okay. My wife is an FBI investigator. And so I said, great. So we still ran it, but he's done a great job, right? And I've really enjoyed working with him. Just, he's a guy who spent 7 years up in Alaska playing up in that league, which, Thad, that league used to be maybe kind of the elite league outside of maybe Cape Cod, and now Northwoods has become very popular. But he was up in Alaska and coached there for 7 years, and COVID really hit that league, so that league's not quite the same as it used to be. But he comes down here, brings great experience, and I know he's had a blast this summer.
You talk about league. We're talking with Preston Munch, who is the governor or the poobah of both these teams on the field today, Prospectors and Foxes. Also, title is vice president of the Front Range League. You mentioned leagues, and this is year one of the Front Range League. Chuck Heeman and you kind of steering this thing into action. What are your reflections now that we're deep into the first process?
Yeah, it's been a really good year. I've been happy. Matter of fact, we actually, Chuck and I and some of the other teams actually just started an email chain here the last 24 hours thinking about next year already, right? What are things we can do better and improve? Because you can always do better. And there's things that I've really liked that we've done, but there's things we can do better, right? And you got to be honest with yourself. And so those are some changes already on the list for next season. But overall, really happy. You've got a great, I think, footprint, right, from Gering all the way down to Pueblo. It's easy for us to travel that footprint. But so far that I've been happy. We're going to get better, right? Your addition and leading the broadcast network, that's been huge. And I could tell you how many parents have come up to me, whether it's here or in Boulder, and said, thank you for doing this, right? And Logan Carney, his mom and dad down in Boulder, matter of fact, came up to me and shook my hand and said, thank you for doing that. We're down in Arizona. We try to make the games, but these games online are huge for us. So thank you, Thad, for joining us and believing what we're doing. And again, we're going to only get bigger and better.
Pop out to Dom Lefevre, third baseman, right in front of home plate is where he got it for 2 away. Phoenix West will bat. I mentioned it in this game. So TJ McCraw starts at pitcher tonight. After an inning here, over the sidewall you're leaning on, this Texan head pops up next to me, and it's his grandpa, Jim Leonard, who's sitting right over there. He said the same thing. He said, hey, we love listening to the thing. Your commentary's great. Thank you so much for doing this. It's simple. We're coming at it simply this year, just get an image and get some people going. Alex Becker's been fantastic, really flexible and big help on play-by-play. Thanks to Alex for what he's done, kind of traveling around the scene. I will say, you talk about the league and the El Paso County Baseball Miracles, young roster kind of taking their lumps this year, but I think we've talked about this. Hopefully that park can stay in this league. That is a gem of a park. I mean, fantastic just to have as part of the experience of this league.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the things we've heard from a lot of players, coaches, fans, is that the parks we play in, they're pretty awesome parks, right? Like you've seen them all, right? And so great parks, the history down in Pueblo, City Park, you got Brady Hall, who's in his second year with us. His grandpa played here, right? So you got great fields. Last year we had, for example, University of Utah, their assistant head coach came here, and he had never been here. And he's like, this is kind of like a hidden gem. And he came back for night 2, right? And so he was recruiting a couple of our players, including Larry Haskins, who just popped out there. So it is. I think the league has some great parks, and you're spot on, Thad. That's a park we need to keep in this league.
Yeah, it's cool that the southernmost tip in Pueblo, Runyon, just a legendary, just breathes when you go down there. You can feel the history. And then the North Star of the league is Oregon Trail Park in Gering, where the All-Star game was, and that's just a phenomenal place to take in a baseball game. The remainder of the season here, coming down the stretch, I know we got the playoff sequence coming up. Here's Towels pitch to West, and he swings through that. 2 outs in the top of the 5th with the Prospectors holding a 1-run lead. What do you want to see last few weeks of competition?
Last couple of weeks, we want to continue to see great play. We continued commitment from players, right? That's always difficult. You get to the summer, you get last couple of weeks, and you try to keep these kids engaged, and that's part of why we did the playoffs, to keep these guys engaged, to play for something, right? I mean, no matter what level you're playing, you want to play for something, right? So that's what we're hoping, and you're going to have injuries, and you have kids that are going to hit their max in innings pitched, right? We're seeing that with a few of our teams. But that's what we're shooting for, is a really high level of competition. I was talking to the coaches at the Foxes earlier today, and they're already starting to think ahead of like what that rotation is going to look like in the playoffs. And so they're taking it serious, and they're excited. So high level competition, obviously great turnout. The turnouts for Foxes have been awesome this season. And so we're hoping to see a big turnout. And, I won't say anything yet, but we're working on something kind of exciting for Saturday night after the game.
Well, that's good to hear, and I think you can pass on this question for sure. By the way, I had the interview catered. Do you want a peanut butter cracker? I had this catered tonight.
I'm perfect. I'm perfect.
Because I want to hear you try to talk with peanut butter cracker in your mouth. Nori Todd just stole second. He's the tying run out there with 2 outs. Phoenix West working a deep count here against Riggs Towel. Todd takes off again. Kyler Adams rips the throw, and that's wide of the bag to the foul side. Todd slides in, steals 2 bags on back-to-back pitches, and he's over to third with tying run. Again, you can bypass this if you want to. We've talked a little bit about it. Chuck Heeman, we've been in that conversation. Are there a couple of aspirational additions, teams that are out there right now that you'd love to see get in here? Because I think if we want them, heck, why not throw it out there? We're coming for you, so-and-so. Or if not, that's okay. But I know of a couple in Colorado that'd be great to mix in.
Yeah, there is. There's some teams, and there's a lot of conversations going
West
on right
RBI
now.
knock. Fox is tied up. Go ahead, Preston.
No, yeah, there is some communities that we are targeting, and it is exciting. Right now, there's about 5 teams right now, 5 communities, that we're looking at. And there is some really good interest, and so when you look down south, one of the towns is Trinidad, right? Trinidad has the Pecos League right now, but that's a community that has reached out to us that's very interested. There's a community just across the border in New Mexico that's interested as well. So I think you're going to continue to see that footprint grow. And what I love about it is right now we get 8 teams, and we got 4 in the Summits, 4 in the Harvest. Chuck and our goal is, can we get to 6 and 6, right? Okay. And you can add teams and actually reduce your travel footprint, right, if we do it right. And so that's kind of our goal. And so, yeah, we got about 5 communities right now that are very interested in joining us. And of course, too, the goal is to retain what you have, right? Because I come from a business world, and you always say it's easier to keep a current customer than get a new one, right? And yes, you mentioned the Miracles, where maybe record-wise it's been a struggle. But they're scrappy. They play tough, and I hope they continue to stay in there. And hopefully, now that they've seen that first year what the level of competition is, they know, you know what? There's a few more guys we need to add to make ourselves even a little bit more competitive.
Nick Bertucci batting. Genoa Trujillo at second base just changed out gloves. Nobby delivered him a different glove. We'll see if that gets pressed into action right away. I don't know why he swapped it, but it might be the magic to get out of the inning. The score is tied now. Todd scoring on the Phoenix West base hit. Bertucci, Foxes have not homered tonight, and he took a hack at it right there, fouled it back. I was going to ask you about the team count, kind of what the ideal team count is. It's interesting. I think the Cape Cod League, I think they're at 13 teams. I might be off a little bit there, but, Cape Cod League, kind of the gold standard, 13. The Northwoods League is, I think, at 26 now is the number, and they basically absorbed some other groups. But in that league, they have a half and half. They don't even play half the league in the regular season because of the geographic footprint. I do think the I-20, I mean, we all don't like traveling I-25 in the traffic periods, but that corridor works out pretty well. This ball sailed above shallow right and long run for Berg, who packs it away. Bertucci flies out. We're tied into the bottom of the fifth. So you said 6 and 6, or I don't know. I guess if you thought about it, sort of vision out over time, is there a right size to this?
I don't think there is, right? You want really good organizations. If that number is 6 and 6, if it's 8 and 8, right? The one thing we don't want is some of these leagues, you look at it from 2025 and there's these 10 teams, then you look at it 2026 and it's half of the league teams have changed. We don't want that. So I'd rather grow it slow and right. Next year if it's 10 teams, that's okay, right? And so, but there's no magic number right now. But to your point, you may grow to the point you have 2 divisions, and you may not have much crossover outside of the end of the year playoffs, right? And that's what Northwoods and a lot of leagues do. And we can't forget that used to be the norm in professional sports, right? Like East and West didn't see each other. American League and National League didn't see each other outside the All-Star game in the playoffs. So there's some intrigue about that too, because I kind of like the old school approach as well.
Yeah. Last thing I'm thinking, just based on a comment you made with retaining your existing teams, I've been to every park in the league this year, and I would say, and I'm not just saying this because it's sort of the right thing to say, party line for the league. The coaching staffs and sort of the core of each, they're a little different, but I really like everybody in this mix, just kind of good people. And I think that's probably one of the best things about what you guys got started here is I think the foundational pieces of what's here, those are the kinds of people you want around.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we were talking about Nabichu, and I got a couple things to share with him, but they're fun stories. And it's talking about the leadership he brought into this league. I mean, he was the manager for 2 years at Grand Junction Jackalopes, right? And so brings tremendous experience. But when Prospectors had their first practice of the year, and so they get all together, and I wanted to be there for that, Nabichu gets in front of those young men, and he speaks, and he tells them, hey, I'm going to tell you about myself. So he talks about the years of Major League Baseball, talks about playing in the Mexican League. He talks about managing in the independent leagues, right? He talks about being a scout for, 15-plus years. And he said, hey, I'm not telling you to brag. I'm telling you because I know what it takes to be successful at the next level, right? And these kids their eyes were just popped, right? And so that is exactly the type of leadership we're looking for in people like Nabichu.
Yeah, he's done a great job with this team. And, I think one thing, sometimes these summer leagues, it's, roll it out and play and then go sit in the pool. He's tried to do some real development with that roster, younger roster, guys who want that, need that, and they're trying to get opportunities. I do think the Prospectors, as much as anybody, have put in some extra work outside of gameplay to help these guys keep progressing toward what they're shooting at.
Yep, they have. And so I've enjoyed getting to know him and to kind of show the respect the league has for him is, instantly when we're talking about managers, great play there. When we're talking about the managers for that, Easton Bay was a natural because they were the host teams. But I could tell you Nabichu was the name immediately mentioned by everybody saying he should be the other manager. So he's gained that respect. And this is when you've gained respect is when the opponent's players are talking about him. And I bring this up. It was a few days ago. Nick Bertucci, he's living across the street with our general manager, their family. He comes out to me. He says, I got to sit down and talk to Nabichu at the All-Star game. He's like, wow, he's legit. And I said, absolutely. And so that's when you got the right leadership when other players are noticing it. So, you're spot on. Bring in great leaders, and then you can build.
The nice play on that last ball was Owen May at shortstop going to the hole, then having to throw all the way across the diamond. And he got a guy who was sitting on a home run and a double tonight. Braden Thompson, player coach, hitting the 9 spot, had been nothing but trouble, and he's thrown out on a potential infield single by a nice play in the hole from shortstop Owen May. Preston Munch signing off. I just want to kind of give you open floor. Anything else that you want to get out before you head back into the masses tonight?
Want to thank everyone that's been involved in the league, right? From you've been a tremendous addition to all the fans that have been attending games, to the players that believe what we're doing. It's been a fun summer. We're going to have a great finish to this season, the playoffs. Playoffs are going to be fun. I mean, Thad, we're going to have some great matchups. I mean, as it sits right now, you're going to have first game, you're going to have Boulder's going to play the Pioneers. That's going to be a fun game.
Yeah.
Competitive game, right? And then in that second game, you'll have the Foxes playing Pueblo. And don't look past Pueblo, right? And then the championship game, that's going to be that Sunday afternoon. So, I encourage fans, get out there, support these kids wherever you're at. It's great baseball. And get out there and cheer them on for these last couple of weeks. And that, I think we're going to have a fun finish to the season.
I appreciate you saying thank you, but I'm tone deaf to your appreciation because you capped it off. I got a basket of like 120 Slim Jims earlier this year. So every other thank you after that, it just pales in comparison to the Slim Jim.
That was a lot of Slim Jims.
I was panning them out to players, and I wanted to eat them all myself, but I figured that might be a little much.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the Slim Jims. That's Preston Munch. This ball up the middle. Could be to West. Gloves it, steps, throws, and that's a double play to cap the fifth inning, and you're going to enjoy the backstretch of this one. 9-inning game. We got a tie score, 9-9. Preston, thanks for the time.
Thank you, Thad. Appreciate it.
Preston Munch will go back to every other duty he has tonight as he wears all the hats. And the Prospectors sitting with a 9-9 score going to the sixth inning. It'll be Hank Smith to lead off for the Foxes. Smith, May, and Oreskes to the top of the sixth. Riggs Towel opens up the top of the sixth. Hank Smith. This is number 12 versus number 12. Hank Smith wears 12, so does Riggs Towel, and one of them is going to prevail in the AB. Hank Smith, he's 1 for 1 in the game. He's been to the plate 3 times. He's got a walk and a sacrifice fly. Drove in a run in the first. Single and an RBI in the second. Hank swinging a hot bat. He was fantastic last night. Finally popped out in the 8th inning for his first time he was put out. I was talking last night about both Hank Smith and Owen May were unoutable through their first 5 plate appearances each, and then each out on their 6th, but they were either walked or base hit. 10 for 10 between the two of them back-to-back in the order last night in the 5 and 6 spots, May and Smith. Hank, who's batting now, he was in order last night. Single in the first with 2 RBI, then a single with an RBI in the second, double with 2 RBI in the third, 5th inning, double with an RBI, 6th inning, intentional walk. Don't blame you. Understand why you'd put him on. Hank tonight, 1 for 1 with a walk and a sac fly, and he'll take another walk here. Hank Smith's on-base percentage in the last 2 days is almost incalculable, although it's calculable for real. Top of the 6th, opens with a walk to Hank Smith. Owen May bats behind him tonight. They were flip-flopped yesterday. May before Smith, now Smith before May. Strike 1 to Owen. Fielder's choice, ground ball in the second, and a walk in the first, a single in the fourth. He's 1 for 2 tonight. 0-1 pitch from Towle. Gets him to reach. It's a high chopper. Toger waits for it to come down, and he gets to the bag just in front of Hank Smith sliding in. Will Toger makes the only out that was really available there. Another fielder's choice, second one of the night for Owen May. Hank Smith, among others today, pay window. I was handing out some paychecks from the Fort Collins Baseball Club to a handful of Foxes who've been doing some instruction clinics and lessons for young baseball players in our Fort Collins Baseball Club. Hank was one of them. He actually came in yesterday. I didn't have to hand him a check today because while I was in Colorado Springs before the team hit the road to the Springs, I was already there for a game. Team was coming last night, Foxes, to play the Miracles. Hank dropped into the office to pick up his check from our very own Liz Sutherland, legend of the Fort Collins Baseball Club. Towle's pitch to Oreskes. He's looked like maybe a little late on that. He fouled it back into the glove of Kyler Adams, popped out, and strike onto the board. I handed out the rest of the checks today, but I saw Hank while I was doing it, and I said, "Hey, did you go come and get your check to get lunch?" And he said, "No, I can't afford that anymore." He said, "I just had a negative balance. I needed to get my check and get back on the right side of zero." Hank was just forced out at second. May running at first. And again, good pitch from Towle. Gets past Drew Oreskes, the swing and the miss. Drew 0 for 3 in the game. Strikeout, ground out, and a fielder's choice. Tough lighting right now, just the time of night. And a strike works down and away, and Oreskes walks away. Strikeout looking from Towle.
2 outs. Brings up number 99, Aiden Young.
Make it 2 away, and it's the number 8 batter. It's Aiden Young. Fox's bullpen has a large gathering of bench sitters, as does the NoCo Prospectors. Actually, the Foxes now have a couple guys up and moving down there. Eric Berquist, he pitched last night. I think I see Eric down there, but he's just doing some hanging out, a little bit of stretchy work. I don't think he'd be available tonight after starting last night. A few other guys hanging out. Got some dudes halfway down there sitting on the rolled-up tarp, the big field tarp at the side of the field. Strike assessed. Aiden Young adjusts the batting gloves. Asks a question of plate umpire Jordan Bishop to get confirmation on location there and steps back in. The Prospectors have a whole array of guys in the right field bullpen area, on-field bullpens here inside the side fences, so they play right up against the foul line to the bullpens. And a guy who got tuned up a little bit, warmed up a little, courtesy running a couple times, Jack McRae is one of the Prospectors down there. He just sat back down there, all sitting. There's like 6 of them down there just all sitting along the side fence on benches. Ground ball to Toger at short, who backhand picks it and goes to Trujillo. Genoa takes the throw at second. And it's another 0, holding the score at 9-9. 2 fielders' choice ground balls in the inning. That one by Aiden Young, and nothing in for the Foxes in the top of the 6th. 9-inning game tonight, and we keep running even here. 9-9 the count. Bottom of 6 coming for the Prospectors in a tie game.
Jake Otterline at first base, hitting 8th, and then Griffin Webb in the 9 hole for the Grays. Take you around the horn for the Collegians defense.
Strike 1 from Connor Kearns as I was watching the wrap-up of Game 2 from Diamond Club during the inning break. Greeley Grays, looks like they pulled 2 wins in a doubleheader with Diamond Club today. Good for the Grays in their 100th year of baseball. Greeley Grays on the road in Arvada. They won the first game 10-7 and held on for a 5-4 outcome. Greeley Grays get a pair of wins in the only other action in the Front Range League today. Catcher Gladish got that not quite to the sweet spot in the barrel. You could hear that on contact. Gladish hits it to left to Larry Haskins. Fly out for 1 away in the bottom of 6.
I might be too strung out on compliments, overdose on confidence. Started not to give a fuck and stop hearing the consequence. Drinking every night because we drink to my accomplishments.
Here's Dalton Berg. Ball 1 to Berg. Mentioned earlier, a game and a half were canceled today in Gering, Nebraska. The remnants of a big storm yesterday hammered Oregon Trail Park and shut down the 64s and Pioneers in a tight game that was at the end of the 3rd. It was 4-3. Western Nebraska Pioneers leading Boulder 64s yesterday when all broke loose and field was still not playable today. So the resumption of that game plus an originally scheduled game, both scrubbed today in Gering. Grays take a pair of wins today, 10-7 and 5-4 over Diamond Club. And the only other action is right here in the bottom of the 6th. Tie game 9-9. Pitch stayed in. Not bad from Kearns, lefty on lefty, buzzing the belt line of Dalton Berg. It's a full count, 3-2. 1 away on the catcher Gladish fly out. Kearns, front foot stomps a couple of steps into his set, and then he delivers ball 4, and frustrated with himself, Berg
25, Will Toger.
takes a walk, 1 aboard with 1 away. Fouled away by Toger. As I mentioned, we already heard our conversation with Jay O'Connor, Fox's pitching coach. And I'll fire up the Chris Nobbenshoe interview. This inning break, Nori Todd back to the track at center, right to the wall, jumps up, makes the catch at the track. Out in center, Toger gave that a deep ride. It ends up just in front of the tall fence in center field. Straight away, 378, and that one, Todd gets there and goes up like a rebound in basketball, takes it away just in front of the fence. A long fly out, 2 down. With Dalton Berg running at first, the go-ahead run, Dom Lefevre, 1 for 3 in the game. Fouled away by Lefevre, 1-1 count. Chris Nobbenshoe now coaching third base. He barks across the diamond to Dalton Berg. I think Berg might have, I don't know if he missed a sign previously or just wasn't paying attention, but Nobby lets the entire park know. I'm giving some signs over here. Chopper from Lefevre. May had to sit back on it. Good arm from Owen May at shortstop. Had to wait for that chop shot to descent, and the shortstop makes the play. 1 aboard, but again, a 0. And the Prospectors can't pull back into the lead. They led 9-8. The Foxes answered with 1 in the 5th after a 6-run 4th from the Prospectors. We go into the 7th inning, 9-inning ball game, and it's 9-9. Here's the start of our conversation with Chris Nobbenshoe. Prospectors manager Chris Nobbenshoe back at the site where last time he was here, he was ejected, jacked from a game. Tell us that story, Coach.
Yeah, it wasn't even my fault, really.
Of course not.
Seriously, you know, they had already warned our pitcher to start the game, and I knew that if he even came close to one of their batters, I was going to get thrown out, and we weren't even trying to hit anybody, although it was merited. I still got tossed, and it was bad, but and that was the only time, you know, out of 96 games last year that I got tossed. So it was pretty bad.
My understanding is it was from the exact same dugout you're in today, right? So are you having little flashbacks?
Yeah.
You feeling a little bit of stress on this?
Yeah, bad memories. We gotta get a live chicken and sacrifice it and do all that fun stuff.
That'll work for sure. Tell us about last year, what you were doing last summer and your experience before this year in the Front Range League.
I managed over in Grand Junction in the Pioneer League, and manager is kind of a loose term because you do a little bit of everything. I mean, you do bus scheduling and concessions and along with player acquisition and lineups and hitting sessions and trying to figure out the mind of a pitcher and all that fun stuff. So it's quite a busy time as a manager in the Pioneer League. At least it was for me.
Thanks for putting the time into the Front Range League this year with the Prospectors. Give us a state of the squad, state of the club update as of today. Where are you guys at with the Prospectors?
I think we're scrappy bunch, really. A bunch of guys that like to play and give their all. we've had some guys drop off from an injury standpoint, which is, that's baseball. And I think a lot of these guys, it's the summertime for them, and, it's the summertime of their college career, or in between their high school and their college career. And so it's a little laid back, probably a little more laid back than I would like. And I'd rather have my whole roster available to me every time I sit down and put the lineup together. But it seems like so far this summer I've had to wait and see who shows up before I can even put down the roster, or the lineup. So, yeah.
Talking with Chris Nobbenshoe, got him through his comment there, and then we flop back into action. Vinny Angle grounds out to second base. Angle ground ball against Riggs Towel. Riggs handling a good run here in the middle part of the game after the start from Nathan Alcoof. Riggs has slowed down the Foxes, taking over in the 5th inning. Towel gets ahead and gets an attaboy from Coach Nobbenshoe. Way to get ahead, attaboy. A conversation recorded with Chris Nobbenshoe, actually, was it yesterday, I think it was? Or, no, it was 2 days ago at Block Tickets Park in Colorado Springs before Prospectors played the Miracles. And that game ended early. Field conditions got too squishy and slippery. Official game was recorded with the Prospectors taking the win, but never got a chance to play that interview because of the early ending of that game. Ball shallow left. Toger gets back to it. And shortstop makes the play. Nori Todd pops out for the second out. Larry Haskins has the last shot of the top of the 7th to keep it alive for the Foxes. So you heard that last inning break conversation clip with Chris Nobbenshoe talking about the site of an ejection last year. That was in Colorado Springs with the Grand Junction Jackalopes. I think they were playing the Rocky Mountain Vibes in the Springs. That's where that happened, not here. A big cloud to the south and a little bit west, kind of now moving west to east, so it's mostly south of the park. Way high in those big clouds, you got a few, looks like cloud-to-cloud flashes going on. Lightning distance trackers are used, and seeing the flashes, but there's staffer assigned to the assessment of where that action is at to this point. It's play on. Prospectors in a rhythm here. Chopper to short. Toger runs to it, sends his throw, and safe is the call. Throw was up high. Braden Thompson tried to keep the foot there. Haskins, speedy runner down the line. Again, a ball that had a lot of chop to it. Stayed up in the air for a little while for Toger. He did a good job of running to it. He caught it as soon as he could on its way down. Haskins beats it. Go with single there. There was no indication of a pulled foot from base umpire Zane Covey, so his assessment may have been there that the runner beat the throw. It's an infield single for Haskins. Phoenix West bats with 1 aboard and 2 out. Takes ball 1. Bullpen, both sides working. Foxes down the left field line, Prospectors down the right field line, each with bullpen activity. 7th inning of a 9-inning game. It was 8-3 after the 3rd inning in favor of the Foxes. 8 runs in the first 3 frames. Phoenix West is hit by pitch. He has his sliding mitt in his back pocket, the pocket that was closer to the pitcher, and I think that pitch might have hit his sliding mitt. The sound of it sounded more like plastic or something solid. So the sliding mitt gets used in a different way to absorb the hit by pitch and put 2 aboard, and Chris Nobbenshoe's coming to the mound. visiting Riggs Towel in the top of the 7th. And that might have been a one-word visit, maybe two. That was more of a touch the post and turn around and head back visit to the mound. I don't really know what was said, but I can imagine I've made a couple of visits like that myself where you don't need to stand out there long. I imagine it was something along the lines of, we got 2 out here, get us 1. Just get us 1. We got somebody behind you next inning. Challenge him up a little bit. You got 1 time here. Get it, and we'll pass the baton in the bullpen. Towel's pitch. Shatters the bat of Bertucci. Roller to third is booted. And Towel did what he came to do, and the defense lets him down. A shatter shot, jam job, and it's an E5 that keeps the inning alive. Dom Lefevre at third base, he was going to be able to field that and beat Larry Haskins to the bag, was his available out. Bat shards flying, not really that close to third base, but to the third base side of the plate. Barrel and a few shards went flying. And for Lefevre at third, he one-hand fielded that, just glove only, trying to grab that last hop. In that situation, it's probably 2 hands and even a body block there. You just make sure you absorb that ball. But he kind of made the one-hand reach out to pick it and never did contain the ball. Everybody's safe. Time requested by Riggs Towel. He wants to talk with Kyler Adams, his catcher. Riggs from Greeley, Colorado. University High. His catcher, Kyler Adams from Erie, Colorado, plays at Western Nebraska in Scottsbluff. Clap, clap. My hands were full, so I couldn't finish the "if you're happy you know it" with the physical gesture. Therefore, the clap, clap. Riggs Towel, 25 pitches thrown in his 1 2/3 of relief. Chart has him for no hits, no runs allowed, 1 strikeout, 1 walk. 5 outs recorded, 1 by strikeout for Towel. Bases full for the Foxes with 2 outs. And hot lefty Hank Smith swinging a great bat. He swings it again. Hank Smith makes him pay for not closing the inning when they could have. Bertucci is sailing around third. He'll score from first on a bases clearing double from Hank Smith. Foxes go up by 3. So close for Riggs Towel. That's disappointing for Riggs, as the Foxes get it to Hank Smith, and nobody wants to see Hank if you're playing defense right now. The guy is locked in. Hank with 2 hits and 2 walks in the game. He's 2 for 2. His only other time up was a sac fly in the first for an RBI. He's knocked in 5 again tonight. 3 on that double. Last night, Hank drove in 6 runs. He's got 5 tonight, 11 in 2 games. Bro. 1 ball count to Owen May. Backside of that big cloud is creating a little bit of wind. Here's a 2-hopper to short. Toger accelerates into it, makes his throw, and Owen May grounds out to shortstop. 3-run double from Hank Smith. An inning that the Prospectors had their shot to get out of, and then Smith does the damage. It's 12-9, and it's the 7th inning stretch from City Park.
I think every coaching experience, I've done 28 years of it at much a younger level, obviously, but I think every team you have, every summer you have a couple of, like I'll remember this forever. I'll take away guys or, maybe some dudes who just stick out to you. I don't want to play favorites here, but what do you imagine when you look back a couple months from now on the summer, a couple of the shiny spots, the bright spots?
Yeah, I actually, just thinking back, I'm a little surprised. And I was a recruiting coordinator at Dallas Baptist for a couple of years and scouted for a while, so I kind of understood the landscape of recruiting and how everything was done. And now that the portal's around, I wasn't around for that. But I'm surprised that there hasn't been anybody out seeing any games. There hasn't been any scouts or coaches watching our guys. And honestly, this league is full of guys that I think are Division I talent, guys that can go to a D1 school and have success. So I would have thought that those guys would have been scouted and seen, and my take on it is I'm a little surprised that they haven't. We've got a showcase coming up on Monday. I think it is down at Metro. Maybe we'll see some people that come out for that. But that's a one-time thing in a showcase setting. As a recruiter, I'd rather see somebody play a game and see how they react when it's a real game rather than in a kind of a benign setting. So yeah.
More with Chris Nobbenshoe as the Prospectors try to answer a 3-run frame from the Foxes, and they get a shot back through the middle from Genoa Trujillo. Bottom of the 7th opens with a crack of the bat and a runner aboard. Got a little more in the conversation with Chris Nobbenshoe. Finish that off in an upcoming inning break. Prospectors now chasing on the scoreboard, down by 3. Catcher, Kyler Adams. He goes on the first pitch, and that's fouled away.
Fans, a reminder to bring those foul balls back to the front gate, and you'll get $1.
Another $1 being run over to the reception area. Wait, their 3 balls just came running. I think those kids are picking up balls from the dugout area, or players are hooking them up with an extra ball. Because 1 foul ball just went out and 3 just ran by. There is some kind of a scam being run here. Organized crime from the first base dugout. Adams upstairs swinging a miss. But, as I've always subscribed to, organized crime better than disorganized crime. I think organized lawfulness is probably the winning vote. Win now cranking up, and Adams cranks one foul on a 1-2 pitch. Started to say a moment ago this big cloud bank, and it's a big old, huge situation of clouds out over the left side top of your screen right now as it pushes from west to east and south of this park and maybe south. I don't know if it's all the way south of all of Fort Collins. We're on the north side of town, northwest. Back pick to 1 is an out call. Hank Smith makes the catch with his back to the infield and sweeps the tag behind himself, catches Genoa Trujillo. That throw from Vinny Engel was perfect. Back pick to 1. That will take away a leadoff single, and you make it 2 outs on the strikeout of Kyler Adams, and this inning de-escalated quickly. Strike him out. back pick him out. Connor Kearns, pitcher's best friend, in a whole different shape right there. Usually that's referred to on a double play ground ball. That's a strikeout. Back pick out. Sweet throw from catcher Vinny Engel. And Hank Smith makes a nice play. He's a left-hand glove, right-hand throw first baseman. So his glove is on the bag side when he defends at first base. So he gets to the base. That throw ripping right down the line, the foul line, right at the bag. Hank catches it, facing toward foul ground, back to second base. Just makes the catch on the left hand, and then sort of behind his back throws that tag down right by the bag, and he snagged Genoa Trujillo. Connor Kearns blows a hat right there. That cloud bank is moving pretty quickly now. There's some wind at the back of it, and it actually died back down a little bit. You get that little swirl of wind on the final push through, I hope, of tonight's cloud flow. And thanks to Preston Munch for jumping on earlier in our game, talking us through an inning or so of Front Range League information. He mentioned a beautiful night at the park, and he ain't just fluffing it up. Not trying to sell it. It's just the facts. 3-2 count with 2 away. It's a 9-inning ball game. Prospectors thought they were going to get right at it after a 3-run top of the 7th from the Foxes. Leadoff single, but that goes away. Ball 4 pops loose. Braden Thompson picks up the walk. He's been on base 3 times in his 4 trips to the plate. Riley Suarez, top of the order. Riley 0 for 3. He walked his most recent time up in the 5th. 2 shortstop ground balls in the 1st and 2nd, a strikeout in the 4th, and a walk in the 5th frame. Suarez goes off the mound here. West sticks with it, and he'll make the short flip to shortstop. And Thompson is forced out on a fielder's choice. 7 innings are in the books, and the Foxes are leading by 3. They had to fight it out down the backstretch last night against the El Paso County Baseball Miracles to pick up a 17-13 win, but it was in great question all the way to the end. Nick Bertucci closed last night for the Foxes, and Riggs Towle will try to keep it at 12-9 for the Prospectors, who play defense in the top of the 8th against leadoff batter Drew Oreskes.
Last bit from you. Got a little bit of time left here in the league, so I don't want to rush you to the finish line. But what do you got going on once this thing ends? Kind of what's next on your docket?
It's wide open. I'll go back to the TPC over in Berthoud and do my little side hustle there and put people's bags on the carts and wash their clubs and hang out with Steve Kavner. I don't know if you know Steve, but I'll go back to that and see what else the rest of the time has in store. But always, have my eye on maybe something baseball-wise.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Nobby. Good luck today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks again to Chris Nobbenshoe, who took time to talk through the season, the Front Range League, and he mentioned the TPC in Berthoud championship level golf course. That wind was not done. It's pumping again. Schedule tomorrow in the Front Range League is light. Just one game, and that's right here, City Park in Fort Collins, 2:05 p.m. Mountain Time. Pueblo Spradley Collegians and the Fort Collins Foxes. Drew Oreskes takes strike 1 with the wind blowing hard toward home plate right now. It's ripping through the Fox box in the bleachers. And I guess I'm going to hope this is the final push of that Big storm cloud that's not over us, but has been looming out there, trying to work its way out of your camera shot to the left side, but that thing is ginormous. If you keep going off the left of your screen and swing around more to the east here, that's a ginormous cloud. Ground ball to second base, and Drew Oreskes is out number 1. Aiden Young comes to bat.
Now batting number 99, Aiden Young.
I'm holding on to a couple of equipment items so they don't blow away, so let me catch you up on the score bug here. Trying to free up a hand. Working through some traffic up here myself and failing you a little bit. It's the top of the 8th. Got one out. Young chops it foul. Riggs Towell's pitch is fouled away. It's peeled off to the right side from Young. 2 singles in the game for Aiden Young. He's 2 for 4. Hit into a double play in the 4th and a fielder's choice ground ball in the 6th. Both ended innings. Singles in the 2nd and 3rd. He scored both of those times. And a strikeout delivered. Young is out, 2 down.
Strikeout for Towel. Brings up number 10, Vinny Engel.
Vinny Engel, number 9 batter, with Nori Todd on deck. First pitch from Towell to Vinny Engel, down for ball 1. Fouled away left side from Vinny. One hit tonight for Vincent Engel. He's got a hit by pitch also. First 2 times he came to the plate, he was on base. Hit by pitch in the 2nd, single in the 3rd. Then a pair of ground outs to pitcher and to second base. His most recent 2 trips. Takes a ball out wide, 2-1 count. Riggs Towell trying to get a clean top of the 8th. Empty bullpen for the Prospectors. Foxes do have arm action in the left field bullpen. There's a strike to Engel. That's going to be a full count. For Riggs Towell, his 4th game pitched, according to the stats I've been presented with. 4th appearance on the year. And he's doing well with it. Trying to get the final out of the top of the 8th. He lost Vinny Engel. So close to a 3-up, 3-down frame, but that's not going to be the case in the top of the 8th. And it's the top of the order. Courtesy runner is Elijah Morales. In this game, a couple times tonight, whatever you do, I can do has been the Nori Todd, Larry Haskins approach. Bunt, bunt in the first inning, both for singles. And then RBI shots in the 3rd for each of them. Base hits for both in the 3rd, Nori Todd and Larry Haskins. Haskins on deck with Todd batting, trying to add to a 3-run lead. Towel, a couple pick throws over to first. This one was in the dirt and up the line, and Braden Thompson at first base made a nice play to reach and poach. Ball down. I think Towel liked his pitch, didn't get the call. Norrie shows a little bunt, pulls it back, runner goes, throw to second base will be just late. Elijah Morales steals second. Kyler Adams, good throw against the wind right on the spot. Toger made the tag from shortstop. Close, looked like Morales was in ahead of the slap tag. Wide of the zone for Norrie Todd. Two-one count for Norrie. Three-one count. Back-to-back pitches. Kyler Adams received him outside, and then they pop out of his glove, roll a couple feet away, but no chance to move up to third. Both times Kyler jumped and turned around to find it quick. Morales still at second base. Now with a 3-1 count, Todd initially shows bunt, pulls that back. Towel's pitch. There goes the runner. And it's a chopper towards second. A little short hop finish on that. On the third bounce, it's a short hop to Genoa Trujillo. He makes the play. Third out, ground ball, and the walk does not chew a hole in that inning. Riggs Towel, great work. Kyler Adams gets some props coming off too. The catcher in that inning and throughout the game has been good for the Prospectors. And it's into the bottom of the eighth inning. Prospectors chasing three here with the 2, 3, and 4 batters. Vila, Gladish, Berg going to work.
River Morgan presents famous baseball quotes.
Hey, Dad.
Now
ask
you
what I do
when there's no baseball.
Keeps the parrot
I'll tell you what I
off
do.
the streets.
I stare out the window.
There's
and
no
wait for
crying
spring.
in baseball.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. Run! This has been a test of the emergency alert system. In the event of an actual emergency, you're probably cooked.
All yard baseball. All yard baseball.
First pitch swinging in the bottom of the eighth for Dax Vila, fouling that to the right side. Drew DeVries, right-handed relief pitcher for the Foxes, now on in the bottom of eight. DeVries has 2 strikes, quickly up against Vila. Fires that one over the top. Smokes into the backstop after ticking the glove of catcher Vinny Engel. Catcher Gladish on deck. 0 for 2 in the game with a walk plus an intentional walk. 3 passes twice in the game. DeVries trying to get the first out of the bottom of the 8th. He'll get a chopper down the line at third. That's probably 2 bags. That's fair past the base, bouncing by Aiden Young's reach. And Vila glides into second base. Last inning, the Prospectors had Genoa Trujillo on with a leadoff single. He was backpicked on a strikeout to go to 2 outs. And in the next frame, Vila does it one better. Leadoff double for Dax Vila. First hit of the night for Vila at a great time. Prospectors need to make a little move right here. Bullpen sitting quiet now for the Foxes. Got one guy stretching. That looks like TJ McCraw, who started tonight, so he's doing some post-appearance maintenance work. Ground ball, going to get through the right side. Catcher Gladish. And the runner will be held as the ball's picked up in shallow right from Nick Bertucci, who does what, if I did it, would have blown out a disc, but he's fine at 21 years of age. Nick Bertucci was coming hard toward the plate in case that runner came around Vila, and then when Vila rounded and was trying to go back to third, Bertucci, with his momentum going toward the plate, twisted his upper body and threw to third, and everybody's standing safely at the corners. Jay O'Connor is going to visit the mound. 2 hits, get the frame going. Fresh reliever Drew DeVries, and the Prospectors have success with Dalton Berg coming up. Wind is weird right now. Flag straight down in left, still breezing around here. I am thinking of this in part because Dalton Berg in the 4 spot, he's got the juice to tie the game with 1 hack. Conditions a moment ago were less favorable for that, but wind backed off a little bit. It's blowing in spots right now. Now the U.S. flag in left starts whipping around, but it's died down here. There are 2 flags on top of the batter's eye out in center field. They're both blowing in. Green and white pennant-shaped flags in center. Ball 1, and Vinny Engel sends it back to Drew DeVries, who resets for pitch 2 to Dalton Berg. Opportunity here for the Prospectors. It's Berg and then Will Toger, Dom Lefevre. Berg and Toger for sure have demonstrated home run pop this season. Gladish, who just singled, has also done that. He goes opposite way, rolling it through the right side for a base hit, did Gladish. Reaching that time of night, based on the situation, the setup here at City Park with a heavy gauge chain link fence for the backstop, and not a great way to get the camera inside of that, fouled off by Berg. Camera gets a little bit of a focal point on all that metal there, and the infield tends to turn into a wash of brightness, and that's just kind of the way the camera reacts to the shot. So apologies for that as it full night takes over the lights. This doesn't happen, like last night, for example, in several games at Block Tickets Park in the Springs. Nice pitch. That's a hammer shot inside, pounding the zone to Berg. It's a 2-2 count to Dalton. Good pitch by DeVries. Don't get that kind of reaction at some other parks, but the shot composition here at City Park leads to a washout when darkness sets in. Berg swings and misses, and the number 4 batter is out on a swing. Drew DeVries needed that, and he delivers it. 3-run lead, first and third, now 1 away, and Will Toger. Drew DeVries, according to my stats printout, delivered to me pregame, 8th appearance of the year for DeVries. He had 7 before tonight, 7 appearances, and it had gone 7 1/3, so obviously about an inning per time. Rocket foul ball right side out of play. For DeVries, 8th appearance on the year, now working, try to get up into 8 innings pitched on the stat sheet. 10 walks, 7 strikeouts, ERA of 6.68. and a whip of 2.73, about 2 3/4 walks and hits per inning pitched. It's got 2 guys aboard here. One more walk or hit in the inning would push him above his average. He's trying to leave it as an appearance that brings that average down with 2 aboard. And he's not going to get Toger. Toger lobs that into right. Gliding first to third goes catcher Gladish, and Dax Vila scores on the RBI base hit from Will Toger. Good swing from Toger, went the other way. Used the pitch for what it was worth, and cashes in a run on that swing. Toger at first. Gladish at third. Dom Lefevre to the plate. 12-10. Prospectors arrive in double digits. Shiny black bat of Dom Lefevre. He'll hold it back to take ball 1. City Park field lights glistening off of the black wooden bat. Looks like maybe a Mizuno, if I'm seeing that M emblem correctly. Pitch is in tight on Lefevre. He's up 2 balls and no strikes. Every now and then you might see there's a baseball that'll come flying behind home plate between pitches. They're not playing tic-tac-toe, as teams sometimes do during delays. Those are foul balls that are being returned across to the home dugout, as is tradition. The home dugout typically takes them back, since they, I believe, are on the hook to provide them for the game. 3-0 count to Lefevre. DeVries gets it through the zone. Fastball right down the middle. Will Toger is at first on a 1st and 3rd, and not a base stealer by nature, so you unlikely to see him run. Now Lefevre is going to swing at a 3-1 and go to full. DeVries in a pony race here. He fell behind in this count. Now he's closing the gap, trying to beat Lefevre by a head at the post. Gets a chopper, might be 2, 6-4. Can he beat it for a run? Safe is the call, and that run will hit the plate. From catcher Gladish at third base, he scores on a fielder's choice. Toger retired in the middle of the diamond. May fed it to West, tried to turn it. It's an RBI on a fielder's choice from Dom Lefevre. And the narrowest of margins back on the board. At least on my board. The scoreboard here still has 12-10, but I believe it's 12-11. Ball 1 to Genoa Trujillo. He's had a couple good swings tonight, an RBI single in the 4th and a single to lead off the 7th. Ball to Trujillo. (12-11). Score bug on your screen and scoreboard at City Park agree. DeVries. He's wide there. It should be 3-0 count to Trujillo. Everybody's saying one spot right here. Genoa can pounce on a pitch he can destroy. Otherwise, he'll lay off something like that was outer edge. Good outside strike to the edge from DeVries. Didn't give him something to destroy. 3-1. (3-2). DeVries fell in a hole against Dom Lefevre, the previous batter. Fought back into it, got a ground ball that was just a tick too slow to turn 2 on and turn into a fielder's choice RBI. Second out, would have ended the inning if the double play was turned. Fell behind 3-0 here to Genoa Trujillo, and now he's got him on the precipice at a 3-2. Runner can go with 2 outs. Lefevre gets a bigger lead. Nobody holding. He'll take off, and this ball to right, and that's going to get down and right. It will stay fair by a couple feet. It goes to the corner. It'll be a triple coming around second and cruising to third with an RBI 3-bagger. Genoa Trujillo goes the other way on 3-2 and ties the game.
Now batting number 21, Tyler Adams.
Entertaining action from City Park in Fort Collins on the Front Range Baseball Network with a fire truck cruising around out in left center. Back to the firehouse. Lights are flashing. Now they dim. Almost look like a little party celebration light out there for the Prospectors, who just tied the game with a triple scoring Dom Lefevre. 3 runs in the inning, and we're playing 9 tonight. And the go-ahead run is at third base. Kyler Adams either extend the inning and get Braden Thompson to the plate or put him ahead right here, and they would have a chance to close the Foxes in the top of the 9th. A little spin on that pitch, and DeVries gets the zone. Of course, all the emotions heightened now on both sides. You got more barking and yapping and yipping on the strike call. Adams down 0-2. DeVries trying to get out of here with a tie. Launches that pitch, and that's going to give the Prospectors the lead. Wild pitch over the top on an 0-2 from DeVries. And that run finds its way in. 4th run of the inning. The party lights go off again from the fire truck out in left center. I think the Prospectors have some kind of remote control on those lights. There's a swing and a strikeout, and it's 1 pitch too late as the wild pitch on 0-2 has put the Prospectors up 13-12, and this is it. Pitching change for the Prospectors. Great work from Riggs Towell. He's going to pass the baseball to Braden Bay, who will try to close a win with the Prospectors, the home team tonight, leading 13-12 over the Foxes. Fort Collins, they are in a good spot in the order. Everywhere in the order is pretty dang good. They've got 2, 3, 4. Haskins, West, Bertucci to try to keep the game alive. Down by 1, last bat.
If you're a real baseball player, that guy's a dude. You gotta have the newest, expensivest bat on the market. Bro. And it's gotta have the coolest name. Bro. Brand new. Just dropped. Tanks. Whatever the newest metals and materials might be, this bat is always one evolution newer. The Batco Crouching Tiger Nuke Mash Pummel Destroy Quad X Quadruple Extreme. Making mediocre hitters superstars. That guy's a dude. $600 at a time. Bro.
Braden Bay trying to close for the Prospectors, leading by 1. Bay fires ball 1 to Larry Haskins. Haskins 3 hits in the game. He's 3 for 4. 1 plate appearance was a sacrifice line out to right. There's a strike from Bay. Haskins single in the first, double in the third, single in the 7th for his 3 hits. Scored twice. He'd like to make it around one more time here to tie it. Takes a big swing and peels away a foul right side, and a 1-2 count for Braden Bay. A recent graduate of Poudre High School, Braden. Righty winds, delivers, and Haskins, good swing from Larry. Fouled again right side. Braden Bay, 9th appearance on the year for him. In his previous 8, he's tallied 22 innings, so he's just under 3 innings pitched per appearance. Just needs 1 here is the goal. Close the Foxes out. That ball is ripped to right. That is up and caught by Dalton Berg in right field, reaching up at the track on the curl as he peeled back the final few steps toward the fence. And what a catch. That's a huge first out. Extra bases sailing into right field. And Dalton Berg turns in a beauty of a play in right field, 1 away. If it's Whitney Houston on the walk-up, it must be Phoenix West in the left side batter's box. West takes strike 1. What a play by Dalton Berg. My goodness. That was at least 2 bags, and I'm thinking that there's a good chance there were 3 bases tied to that thing if it gets down. Huge play in right field. Now West chops that and kind of spins it up his back. He chopped it down and it rolled up the backside of his jersey. Phoenix, who has 2 strikes facing him now. Nick Bertucci will bat next. Man, Haskins hit that ball well. Line out to right, all the way to the track with some sizzle. Swing and a miss, and Phoenix West goes down on some outside high heat. Braden Bay heats it up, hits a spot.
Now batting number 32, Nick Bertucci.
Yeah, here you go. 2 down. Bertucci with nobody aboard. Hank Smith behind him. Smith has been phenomenal. Bertucci has demonstrated some good patience in some ABs this year. He's looking for something he can drive here with 2 outs and nobody on to tie the game. But if he can get Hank Smith to the plate, that's something that everybody wants right now. Bertucci swings and misses on the first one. Braden Bay, known for pretty good control. Guy who will be around the zone. So the Foxes have had to be at work in the box. Bay. Bertucci sends that up. Did the Prospectors just close out their siblings? NoCo with the win.
Prospectors win.
Dalton Berg in right field catches the pop-up from Bertucci into the shallow portion of right. And the NoCo Prospectors put up a 4 in the bottom of the 8th to take the lead. They were down 12-9. Score 4 in the 8th, flipped the scoreboard to 13-12. And finish it off with a 3-up, 3-down inning from Braden Bay. What a finish from Bay, who gets a line shot rocket to the track in right. Dalton Berg, the defensive play of the game, gloved that. Strikeout of Phoenix West and the pop out to right from one of the league's premier hitters, Nick Bertucci. And credit to Braden Bay on the closeout. Credit to the Prospectors coming back from an 8-3 deficit in this game. Taking the lead in the bottom of the 8th and paying it off with a 3-up, 3-down frame in the 9th. It's a 13-12 final outcome. Prospectors over the Fort Collins Foxes. Great game at City Park tonight. Just under 3 hours of ball. 2 hours and 42 minutes on the clock tonight. And 25 runs on the board. 1 more of those went to the NoCo Prospectors. game tomorrow at City Park, as the Foxes will be the home team tomorrow, hosting the Pueblo Spradley Collegians. It's Foxes and Collegians out of Pueblo at 2:05 p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow, here again at City Park in Fort Collins. The only game on the Front Range League slate tomorrow is that matchup right here, 2:05 Mountain Time on the Front Range Baseball Network. Check frontrange.league.com for information and standings in the league. The standings portal busted right now on the platform that's been used all year, so there'll be some PDF updates until the bug is resolved. You can still find a standings chart, as I'll feed that along to Chuck Heeman at headquarters in Gehring and get you the most recent situation. The Grays got a doubleheader win today over the Diamond Club Collegians in Arvada. Greeley Grays taking 2 there, 10-7 in game 1 and winning 5-4 in game 2. The Grays, nice couple wins added to their season of experience for the Greeley Club, sweeping on the road against Diamond Club in Arvada today. And the final again here, Prospectors as the home team tonight take a swipe at the Foxes and come away victorious, 13-12, the final count. We'll talk to you tomorrow from City Park in Fort Collins, 2:05 Mountain Time on the Front Range Baseball Network. Until then, have a great night. So long from Fort Collins.